Yun.
Blocking love.
Ha? Blocking?
Oo, ayan.
Kay Korean yung hairstyle natin, boss, ah.
Oo nga eh, long hair na.
Okay yan, opa ka na. Yun, naka-live na siya. So,
Dito pa yung dog namin.
i-live. I-share ko lang to saglit.
Sige.
Pala yung event mo, sir. Okay. Nag-post sila ng short clip nung ayos ah.
Oo. Ayos naman. Humingi pa to kanina eh.
Oh, binigyan mo?
Hindi.
Oo naman.
Hindi pwede sa kanya.
Ha?
Di ba meron tayong yung para sa dito?
Yung oo.
Di
Kung ano
natin
kung
dala.
nasaan na yun. Kasi di mo siya binigyan. Di mo siya binigyan.
Reklamo siya eh.
Mukhang sinama mo si Doggy, sir, ah.
Oo nga eh. Artista ng ato.
Oo nga, pwede yan.
Namoy-amoy niya yung bibig ko.
Alam niya eh, no? Okay. Ito lang, sir, saglit lang to. And then, saan pa ba?
So ito yata tayo, nakikita. Hindi siya yung
tayong 7
think.
viewers.
Ay! Hindi mo
Ayun
na
po.
Sige.
Type nyo lang yung mga tanong nyo, mga darling. mga darling eh, no?
Dito tayo sa may comments, babe. Check mo.
Oo.
Para makita mo yung mga comments ng tao.
Share lang natin ito sa trading community para mas maraming matuto tonight. Saan na ba yun? Sobrang dami na rin kasi ng trading community. Hindi ka pa naman pwedeng mag-share ng yung sunod-sunod. Kailangan magpahinga ka ng konti. Kundi ibablock
talaga?
Magmumukha kang
may bagong FB.
Parang tinitingnan niya para kang bot. So, nag-auto-post ka. So, kailangan mong may interval ng konti. Yun, I think, ilan na tayo? 10. Yun. Ayos, pambungad Aangat pa ba si SSI? Sige, mamaya tingnan natin yan. Basta wag tayong buhusan ni boss. Aangat yan.
Wala akong SSI, okay lang yan.
Okay lang ba? Okay lang. Sige. Nag-unload na si boss, so okay na yan. Medyo magaan na yan. Saan pa ba? SE3, sorry. Okay, may 12 na tayo. Tignan natin. Ma'am, nakikita mo ba yung Yun, sige. Sir, boss, nakikita yung comment, no? Pinlash ko, no?
Yeah, kita-kita.
All working
Kay
okay.
Alexander Young. Oo. Kailangan ko ba ng charting nito? Pero dapat ikaw yung guest dito eh. Lang, dapat ikaw yung kung ano yung matanong para sa'yo. Sige nga, share ko nga to sa namin. Share ko din sa community namin. Sa YouTube ko ba, yun? Teka. Yung YouTube lang yung i-share ko
Sure. Yun.
Copy link.
Hala, love, kita yung basurahan.
Okay lang yan. Parang tawag dito. Penny stock.
Basura.
Oo, may pera sa basura.
Paano ba? Kailangan ala? Teka, tanggalin mo nga yung tuwalya.
Sige, wait lang. I-blow up ko lang yan tayo. Yan. Sinum ko pala yung video, so okay lang yan, ma'am. Ano tayo dito? Natural lang, walang halong chemical. Yun.
Natural, walang halong chemical. Alright.
Tama.
Ayan, sinare ko na sa TR.
Yun. Philippine Stock Investing Guide. Yun, nakita ko na siya.
Ayaw mong yan? I-virtual background?
Pwede ba? Let's do that then.
Try mo yung...
Okay. Yun, si Romel, game daw. Game, sige. Let's start. Okay? Yan, sige. Let's start. So, palitan ko lang yung banner. Siyempre, meron din tayong kasama natin si boss. So, update ko lang yung ating banner. Where is it? Yung ticker pala, sorry. And
The Capitalist Dog. Kilala ni Darren, oo. Shout out to Darren.
yun. And show. Okay. I guess, yun, shout out daw, sabi ni Sir Darren. Miss you daw, miss you. And good evening, Sir Maki. Mapagpalang gabi din sa iyo. Elbow Cup. Wow! Umi-elbow ka pa si sir. Okay, let's start. Ma'am, ano ba? Napapamam ako eh, no? Minsan ma'am, minsan miss. So, anyway, ano na lang, madam. Ay, madam, hindi naman. Parang teacher yun eh. Eh, teacher ka naman eh, no? Hindi, sige. Miss Celeste, yan. An idol C. Pwede ba yan?
Yes, pwede.
Pwede. Okay. First of all, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagpapaunlak. Wow, Tagalog na Tagalog. Baka ma-nosebleed si Ma'am Celeste. Kasi napanood ko yung last video mo. Kaya pala medyo nano-nose blood. Wow, nose blood. Iba eh, no? Laki ka pala sa sa Middle East, sa Saudi. Tama po?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sige. Pakilala natin. So, guest po natin ngayon is si Miss Celeste. And our idol, si Frix. So, ma'am, first of all, pakilala po tayo and paano po tayo paano nyo, let's say, nalaman yung trading? May nag-introduce pa sa inyo or it's just so happen na parang, alam mo yun, may mga ads sa FB or YouTube, bigla mo na lang na-play yung video and so on?
Oh, well, it started talaga kasi I was working as a nurse. Tapos, napansin ko na hindi ako magaling sa pera. I mean, mag-handle ng money. Parang yung typical na young adult, kakapasok pa lang sa mundo ng pagtatrabaho and nauubos ko kagad yung sahod ko. I wasn't really making that much money, so it's quite understandable. But I really realized na I had a lot of room for improvement when it comes to financial management. Kasi even at that time, my parents weren't like, hindi yung parents ko, hindi yung tipong kailangan ko na silang bayaran kasi nagtatrabaho na ako. Ang gastos ko lang talaga sarili ko. Pero like, hindi ko ma-handle ng maayos yung finances ko. So what happened was I went to Power Books. Power Books pa yun, sir eh. Sa Greenbelt, may Power Books pang malaki doon.
Oo,
At
tama
that
sa
time,
Greenbelt.
yeah, ngayon wala na, H&M na siya. So, when I went there and bumili ako ng mga 5 books on finances. Tapos, doon ko nakita yung about the stock market. And that really started my entire journey. So, I opened an account. Tapos, after opening an account, 1 week later, dumiretso na, flight ko na to Saudi. So, that's the beginning.
Sakto ka lang nakapag-open, no? Kasi dati kailangan may paper yung submission mo eh.
Oo,
Hard
wala
print
pang Skype noon. Hindi pa pumapayag yung PSE.
So, paglipad mo pagbalik mo ng Saudi, so what happened? So, after mong binasa yung book, so na-apply mo ba agad yung mga natutunan mo doon?
I remember yung mga binibili ko doon. Like, actually, yung first na ginawa ko is nagtingin ako sa Facebook ng groups na pwede kong salihan to find guidance. So, I actually found a very popular group. Tapos, ano naman siya eh, parang hype group kasi. So, laging may mga recommendation, ganyan. So, hindi ka naman mawawalan ng stocks na bibilhin. Kasi everyday, may nire-recommend silang iba-iba. Like, parang kung ano-anong dahilan. Kasi ako naman, bili lang ako ng bili. Pero wala namang recommendation kung kailan to sell. Lagi lang, bili ka dito. Wala ko lang sinasabi na ibenta mo to. So, nangyayari is for months, I kept buying so many stocks. Like, ang pasok ko yata is peak ng bull run. As in, biglang bear run. Pagpasok ko, biglang nag-bear. So, kung ano na yung mga pinagbibili ko every month, halos lahat ng sahod ko, linalagay ko sa stock market. Tapos, depende sa recommendation yung binibili ko. And eventually, na-realize ko around 10 months later na parang sabi ko, parang mali na to. Hindi yata dapat nangyayari na ako na nga tong nag-i-invest. Pero bakit parang ako pa yung mas nawawalan ng pera compared sa mga peers ko at work na na-enjoy nila yung pera nila. At least may napupuntahan. Like, na-enjoy nila, may nabibili sila. Ako talaga wala, no? As an OFW, I was I was zeroing on the idea na I have to go home in just one contract. Hindi ako mag-renew. Kailangan, after one contract, tapos na ako as an OFW. May way out na ako. Yun
Meron
talaga,
kang plan ka naman actually, no? Para
before I
sumalang.
even went to Saudi, yun talaga yung sinabi ko sa sarili ko, isang kontrata lang. So, I was razor focused on that. And then, after 10 months, na talagang I was doing my best. Tapos sabi ko, bakit parang mas nalulugi ako? Bakit gano'n? Di ba dapat for someone who's sacrificing as much as I am, na every after duty, nag-aaral pa ako, like, lagi,
Yes.
like, bakit parang mas lumamang pa yung mga taong walang ginagawa?
Correct.
Like, parang ang dami pa silang
Parang
nasisave.
easy money sa kanila, no?
Oo. So, parang sabi ko, may mali sa approach ko. And that's when I started looking for an alternate approach. And that's when I got to know the ZFP.
Ayun, doon nag-start yung journey doon. Yan. And it was destiny.
Ano
No?
ba?
Yan.
Eto na siya.
Nandito na tayo.
Dito si
Oo.
George, dito si Z. He's here in our humble abode kasi it's actually my dad's birthday. So, ayan, bisita siya, makikiselebrate, kain-kain.
Yun, nice. Again, happy birthday po sa daddy ni Ma'am. Anyways, then when did you decided to come back for good? I mean, tinapos mo lang yung contract mo, then whatever happens na, di na ako babalik doon, sa Pinas ka na. Parang ganun? Or
Well,
nag-extend ka ng contract?
actually, nag-renew. Pero hindi
Ayun.
ko tinapos yung renewal ng
Oh,
contract kasi kulang pa eh. Kasi
Kulang pa.
parang even before I flew into Saudi, may figures na talaga ako sa utak ko. I have to have this amount of money para may emergency fund ako in case I stop the job. I need to have this amount of money para itong amount na to, mapupunta siya sa bayad ng insurance ko tuloy-tuloy. So, kina-calculate ko within 2 years,
Ito
may
naman.
enough.
Yan.
But, siyempre, pag nagbabakasyon, yung month na yon hindi nakasama sa savings yun. Gastos mo na sa Pilipinas yon. So, tapos, nalugi-lugi pa sa stock market. So, medyo renew pa
Delay.
ako. But, medyo na-delay. Pero hindi ganun katagal. Kasi my contract was supposed to finish in January. Umuwi ako mga August, September na. So, wala pang 1 year pa din. It was just a few months of delay. At the same time, at that time, medyo nakikita ko naman na may pinatutunguhan na yung trading ko noon. Tapos, the most important factor was actually yung age. Sabi ko, the earlier I risk it, the faster I can bounce if it doesn't work. So if I go home to Philippines as fast as I can, try it out and see for myself if I can make it work. Pag hindi siya nag-work, madali lang bumalik pa. Parang, yan, kasi I was young pa. That was
Which is,
a big factor.
yes, kasi parang, you can still take risk, no?
Habang
First of
maaga.
all, maaga, young, and I do hope and I pray na soon maging family na kayo. Kasi I saw the post of boss, no? Yung biniro mo siya na hindi mo na siya pwedeng ipakilala or tawaging girlfriend, di ba? Naalala mo yun?
Wife-elect.
Wife-elect na. So anyway,
Kasi election sa US noon.
but
Hindi ko nakuha yung idea.
so ngayon tinatawag mo na siyang wife-elect, di na girlfriend,
Ayan,
boyfriend.
nasa chat namin, ganyan na yun eh. Wife-elect na.
Anyway, that time also, you're still, I believe, even if you are in a relationship now or not that time, you can still go back. Alam mo yun, kasi wala ka pang, in a way, pamilyang inaalala. So, parang you can still take risk, di ba? Parang, kasi may profession ka naman na pwede mong balikan.
Correct.
Whether bumalik ka sa Saudi, ibang bansa, or sa Pinas, kasi may profession ka. So, medyo mas madaling mag-take ng risk compared dun sa mga parang walang fallback.
Correct.
Yes.
Actually,
Kaya
it was a calculated risk. Even if people said I had my leap of faith, It wasn't a leap of faith na hindi ko man lang inisip, sorry. Ang
Oo,
kulit. It wasn't a
tama.
leap of faith na wala man lang, hindi ko man lang inisip. Like, it was a very calculated move.
Yun, gusto ko yun. So yun, sa mga nakikinig, I hope na may mga napupulot kayong mga nuggets of wisdom dito, no? So,
RRR pa rin.
oo, kahit nagli-leap of faith tayo, may calculated pa rin yan. So, si Miss Celeste, so meron siyang target amount. So, bago siya umuwi, at least meron siyang exit plan na tinatawag, di ba? Hindi yung
Mm.
abroad ka tapos hindi mo alam kailan ka uuwi, which is, I believe, parang you are bound to really be an OFW na lang the rest of your life kasi wala kang roadmap, kumbaga. Ayan. And then, syempre mag-ano muna tayo, chika minute muna tayo ng konti, di ba? Bago tayo mga psychology and trading muna. Before that, boss, paano? So, na-starstruck ba tayo kay ma'am? Ano ba yan?
Oo nga eh. Sobra, syempre, every time nagkikita kami nito, talaga, there's always something new.
Yun. Iba no?
Oo nga eh. Iba
Parang,
online, iba din personal.
parang, mas maganda to sa personal, parang gano'n, no? Parang siguro,
yung first kong na-meet siya eh, parang sabi ko, artista nga ba to? Sabi ko, kasi ganun nga talaga yung datingan.
Tapos
Ganun
lang
yung
yan,
presyo.
kasi ang daddy ko nasa baba. Magsusumbong ako pag may maling sinabi.
anyway, ma'am, naka-live tayo, so pwede mong extract yung video. Papanood kay sir para may pang-ano ka, ano dito? May pang,
May resibo.
may resibo, yan, tama. So, pero syempre may mga ano rin yan na student and mentor. So,
Yes.
I believe, syempre, yung during your mentorship or yung program nyo, I believe sinet aside mo muna yon in your personal, yung nararamdaman mo, boss, syempre,
Yes
di ba?
po.
Then after the program, doon ka
Kasi,
na nag-pursue.
actually yun yung nangyari. Ang nangyari kasi nito, siya yung pinakahuli na sa batch nila. Tatlo sila eh. Ang una kong kinuha, si DF. Tapos yung sumunod, si Money Growers. And then, ayan, si Celeste. So, silang
Yun.
tatlo yung mag-batch. Tapos,
Oh,
mga isang taon yata, hindi nila ako nakita. Hindi nila alam kung anong itsura ko. So, hindi din nila alam kung anong mga itsura nila. Ako lang yung nakakaalam. So, sabi ko, sige,
oh.
kayo na lang ano dyan. Basta matuto, yung goal natin dito, matuto. And then, after a year, magkita-kita tayo.
Which is, gusto ko yun, boss, yung approach mo na yun. At least walang masyadong, kasi pure learning ka lang. Tsaka lahat
Yes.
mystery, diba? Sila hindi magkakilala, ikaw lang.
Nagkukulitan nga sila eh. Ang nakakatawa, si Celeste, nagpanggap siyang lalaki. Tapos, sa tatlong yun, pwede ko bang sabihin?
Oo naman.
Siya yung pinaka-manyak.
Ay, grabe na pala yung sasabihin niya.
Ay, di baka in a positive way naman.
Okay, kasi parang gusto niyang sabayan yung dalawa eh.
Overcompensate.
Yun.
Kasi
Kasi,
natapos ako,
siyempre, nagpakilala kang lalaki, so parang kailangan, totoong lalaki ako dito.
Nagulat ako dun
yung
eh.
pangalan ko kasi na alam nila is Clyde. Pero actually, yun yung pangalan ng aso namin. May pitbull kami dito, pangalan niya Clyde. Tapos at that time, nagsusulat na rin ako sa Celeste. Si Aki is very sharp. Sabi niya, Clyde, ikaw si Celeste, no? Kinakabahan ako kasi napapansin niya nung umpisa when I was talking to them, puro English nga. Sabi ko, shucks na napapansin na ako. Ang daya. Sila hindi ko man lang kilala. Ako na bubuko na nila. So, nag-overcompensate ako kung ano-ano yung mga sinasabi ko. Minsan yung
Para
kachat
lang
nila.
ma-distract yung,
Oo.
Ayun. And, ma'am, tapos, anong tawag dito? Paano mo na, in a way, so trading technicals kay boss na yun eh. Pero yung niche mo sa, how do I say it? Let's say, trading psychology. Paano mo siya, in a way, nag-focus ka doon? Parang,
Bakit?
napansin mo ito yung lacking?
Ayun.
Or something?
But years ago, Naki, do you remember back then, ang dami talagang nangyayari na parang, actually, half a decade ago, well, almost 6 years now, at that time, hindi uso yung nagjo-journal, right? Hindi uso yung mga nagjo-journal na yan. Walang risk management. There really wasn't any trading psychology. There was no refinement in the trading world. There was
Ah,
only strategies and the hyping
yeah.
and some speculation. That was the world that we navigated. Tapos, I remember when I went back to the Philippines full time, I was I was okay. Okay, I was
Hmm.
okay. I was making money. And well, of course, I was happy, very happy in the beginning because it was what I wanted to do. But after a while, it got unfulfilling for me. It felt empty. When you come from a field like being a nurse or the healthcare field, very, very normal to feel fulfilled in your job. Like every day, there's a sense of, there's a sense that you help someone
May
every
passion,
day.
'no? Yung
Uh,
parang may connection, eh.
may compassion sa job, there's
Yes.
empathy, there's more purpose than making money in being a nurse.
Parang kasing ano siya, may human emotion in a way.
Oo. Sa sa trading, there's no such thing as there's no way to show empathy towards another person. There's no way for you to start feeling like you're helping another one. Even back then, yung mga mentors na uso nga nun is yung papagalitan yung student, yung real talk, papahin, which is in a sense a style. It's a style pero very harsh talaga yung world ng trading five,
Hmm,
6 years ago.
mm.
So, I felt like I wanted to find a way where I could marry the idea of being able to trade and existing in the trading field, pero at the same time having that fulfillment, that joy of being able to help people, specifically the traders. And that's when I started looking into trading psychology. It was a abstract idea in the beginning, like, paano ba to? May field ba talaga yung trading psychology? Apparently meron, but it's so small and it's so discarded that not a lot of people, especially Filipinos, don't really care much about it.
Hmm,
And that's when I started searching and looking. A lot of things really triggered it. One thing that really triggered it was the show, the series Billions. That
Billions?
was
Yeah.
one that really triggered it. The other thing that really triggered it was when I was able to attend UPW by Tony Robbins. And that was
Hmm,
when I said na parang I want to be like Tony Robbins. Maybe not to his scale wherein I have 30,000 attendees kasi my talent is more on a relational one-on-one activity. Like I want
yeah.
to do that. Tas, ayun, so those two things really triggered and showed me a path that I could take. So yun yung naging thing. And alam mo yun, I also realized kasi, so there's three of us, right? There's three of us. There's Aki, there's me, there's BF. These two guys, naturuan sila before me. So, nung tinuruan ulit sila ni Z, kasama ako, it was my first time learning and it's their second time. Essentially,
Hmm,
review na lang sa kanila. Well, for me, it's new. So obviously, ako yung nangangapa. Hindi ko pa alam paano mag-plot ng Fibo, hindi ako alam
yeah.
ganyan. They were steps ahead of me in that aspect. But I realized in the end, it wasn't my technical skills that was able to pull me out of the toughest season of my trading. It was the trading psychology aspect of it. It was about grit. It was about learning to regulate my emotions. It was all about things that weren't really taught before, but I had to navigate on my own.
Yun. Wow, juicy nun, Wait lang, kuha lang akong tissue, ma'am, Na-ano ako dun sa navigate,
Dumudugo na.
I was like, "Ah," you know? Okay, good. Uh, then parang may nabasa ako, you are now a part of some international, what is it? Hedge
FTMO?
fund,
Hmm.
Prop
F
firm. It's a
FTMO,
propriety firm.
proprietary firm. Okay.
It's called, yes, FPMO. It's a virtual prop firm wherein if you are a very good forex trader, you can take you can take their challenge. If you pass their challenge, then they will fund you money. Tapos,
I see.
profit split. 70% of the profits will go to you, 30% will go to the firm. And in case you garner any losses, yung firm mismo yung magko-cover nun, hindi ikaw.
So,
So,
basically iti-train ka or you just need to apply as a student tapos
you
when
have to, you can apply. Ikaw na bahala sa strategy mo, hindi ka papakailaman ng firm. It's just
oo,
that meron kang
Challenge.
maximum loss na
yes.
if you reach that, you lose the account. You have to apply
Ah,
again.
I
So,
see. Meron bang
yun, my
assessment
job
nun,
there
ma'am?
is trading site coach. Ano yan? Sorry?
Meron silang assessment before they accept
Yeah, my
you or
challenge. There's a challenge that you
challenges?
have to take. Parang the challenge lasts for a month. May target na papagawa sa'yo. And at the same time, may loss limit lang din na pwede mong gawin. If you pass that challenge, there's another round called verification. Mas na madali na lang yun.
Hmm,
Tapos, yun, after nun, mapafund ka na.
ayos, ayos. So, with that, I believe na marami kang nakakausap ngayon na iba-ibang personality in a way.
Mm-mm.
So, pero given na yung usually ang lalapit diyan is yung may mga drawdown, may mga losses,
Mm-mm. That's not true.
nagkagano'n.
That's not true. I
Pero may
think
mga winners din na lumalapit.
Hmm.
I
actually,
mean, credit
you'd be
coaching also.
surprised. Parang, dun mo makikita yung difference ng ugali ng professional traders versus those who probably take trading only as a hobby or I don't know, or hindi pa ganun ka mature yung
Uh-huh.
trader. Professional traders, when they're doing really good, they book as soon as they can because they want to figure out what they're doing correctly para when the market shifts, they can retain that state. They're
Ayos.
more
Wow.
aggressive
Oh,
in
yeah.
finding out what's going on correctly. And when things are going bad, they don't wait until it gets really bad. They really try to figure out how to stop the bleeding agad.
Oo, kasi
Parang, mm,
yung pinaka-BP natin, let's say, or yung account mo, yun na yung pinaka-blood mo eh. Yun yung lifeline mo eh. Pag naubusan
Hmm.
ka ng dugo, wala na eh, no? So, you really
mm,
need to protect. Para kahit maliit pa lang, lagyan mo na ng band-aid, wag mo nang... Actually, yung tubig, hindi naman yun yung nagpapalubog sa isang shift eh. Those small hole tapos napapasukan, yun yung magti-trigger. So, if hindi natin in a way, matakpan agad yung mga butas na yon,
mm,
eventually, lulubog tayo eh.
Hmm.
So, ang ganda-ganda naman nun, ma'am. So, so, on your personal trading muna si boss, since magkasama kayo, so I believe may mga
Hmm.
coaching kayo. You still coach, ma'am, and ma'am, I believe siya yung pinaka anong tawag dito, compass mo ngayon, boss. Siyempre, minsan may mga alanganin tayong gising, di ba? Pero si
Hmm.
madam, I'm sure siya yung nagre-remind sa'yo. So, ikaw, ma'am, how do you set your trade plan now? I mean, how do you prepare your day
mhm,
para makapag-trade ka? I mean, may mga set of rules ka ba na or guidelines or mga sinasabi na rituals before you trade? Like, some do, few minutes of meditation, some do,
mm,
just walk around. Hindi yung
mm,
paggising mo, upo agad sa PC.
oo.
So, may mga preparation din yan, no? So, may mga ginagawa ka bang ganun?
So some people do that, no? As in yung paggising, diretso sila sa chart.
Mm,
I don't really see that working for me kasi I'm not a morning person. Like
mm,
I really have to when I wake up, I'm not really awake. I have to really wake myself up. But to be completely transparent with you, our family had to go through a very devastating crisis just a few months ago, like 14 weeks ago. I lost my mom. She got very
mm,
sick. So I lost her. And even before that, before her hospitalization, ever since she got sick, I stopped trading the local market and nag-shift ako sa global. Kasi my work at the firm typically happens in the evening.
mm,
Parang mag-start yung work ko sa firm 6 p.m. Sometimes it ends at 10 p.m. Depende kasi I dictate naman my slots. But typically, it's in the evening. And that's when I decided na since I work at the firm in the evening, I'll focus more on the global market na lang.
Mm,
And since there's a lot of things that's happening with ZST and my brand and FTMO, and I have a lot of trainings that I have to attend and administer, I just do trend following for now.
mm,
But actually, I do like it. Mas na-enjoy ko yung trend following kasi I've come to a point wherein I don't need, super need to make money from my trades. I can relax kasi I'm really in a very transitional area of my life. My dad and I were transitioning from a life without my mom,
mm,
and I have a lot of responsibilities to take care of.
Sobrang dami nga eh.
Yeah, I have to make sure na when I do trade, only when it really matters. Pag naset ko na yung stops ko, pagka napili ko na yung stock na gusto ko, I don't really pay it more attention. I think I matured in that sense. But
mm,
I do understand how some traders still trade a lot, lalo na yun talaga yung ginagawa nila. It's the majority of what they do. Like for example, si Z, he's really he's really a trader through and through, and
mm.
he's not going through any life crisis as well. So it's very contextual naman. And for me right now, I really have to step back a little bit from the markets because there are things that are more important than trading and making money right now for me.
Mm.
Yes, yes, I do agree at saka gusto ko yung sinabi mo, ma'am. Kasi you really need to, in a way, titignan mo yung schedule mo kung pasok ba siya sa or yung personality mo, pasok ba siya sa
Mm.
play na gusto mo. I mean,
Mm-mm.
kung ikaw, even profitable sa PSE pero hindi pasok sa schedule mo, masi-stress ka lang
Yeah.
eh, 'di
Uh-uh.
ba? So,
Yeah.
which is good nag-transition ka from local to global kasi kasabay naman siya ng work mo.
Mm-mm.
So, kasi yung iba rin parang yun nga na naiinggit so they force themselves to trade
Mm.
kahit
Uh-uh.
although may magandang setup pero alam mo yun,
Mm.
kung hindi mo kasi minsan alanganin yung pasok, mga basura, medyo yung volatility mataas, so kailangan mong tutukan, but hindi mo matutukan dahil nga for certain reason like kung may work ka or meron kang ginagawa, pero gusto mo kasi yung ini-aim mo kasi yung gain, eh, hindi yung
Mm-mm.
sarili mo na, "Uy baka
Mm.
maging alanganin 'to para sa akin," 'di ba? So, and also some force themselves to trade or they have some quota kasi nga, for example, full-time trader ka pero wala kang other source of income, I
Mm-mm.
mean, you really need to force yourself to earn or
Mm-mm.
else wala kang kakainin, eh, kung
Mm.
matalo ka pa, 'di ba?
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
So yung mga gano'ng psychology na umiikot sa isip natin or sa isang trader malaking factor din kasi 'yun, eh. And
Mm.
also if your only savings account nilagay mo sa trading, I mean ibang pressure 'yun, eh.
That's true.
Compare kung extra money mo yon para kahit mag-negative ka in a way, parang wala, alam mo yun, parang kurot lang.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Instead
Correct.
of matalo siya pero nandun lahat ng savings mo, iba yung impact emotionally sa'yo yun, eh, 'di ba, ma'am?
Mm.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
Kaya
right.
konting fluctuation lang or even sa pagtulog 'di ka na nga makatulog. I do believe
Uh-uh.
like sinasabi ko nga, eh, 'pag 'di ka na makatulog sa mga position mo, I mean you are really over leveraging na in a way or I don't know.
Mm.
Do you agree with that?
Actually, skills wise, like for example, we have a trader at the firm. Magaling siya. He's really good at what he does. Before he was working at the aviation field. He was an engineer. Tapos, as in consistent to. Consistently, he could make 10% a week sa account niya. Aside
Lakas,
from his job, of course, he's doing really good. Tapos, he wanted to quit a long time ago, but because of the coronavirus, marami talaga sa kanilang natanggalan ng trabaho. And
Mm.
when he left his job because of that, he felt na, well, gusto ko naman ang gawin to. But now, all of a sudden, he couldn't make as much as before, and actually nagne-negative pa siya. Which goes to show na sometimes it isn't time. Like, there's so many people who are saying na, if only I had more time, I probably could make more money in the stock market.
No, no, no.
Or yeah,
Hmm.
or if I could just go full time, I would probably make more money in the stock market. So it's not really necessarily true. Like for example, this guy, he was doing so well while he had a job as an aviation engineer.
Mm.
And when he went full time, he was suddenly doing terribly. And it was really because of the pressure. He was
Hmm.
going through a transition in his life, like I said, life crisis. And I've seen it time and time and time again. Very talented traders who would lose their account, who would lose their money, not because they aren't skilled, but because they were trying to force a performance that they can't give yet because of life situations. For
Yep.
example, an athlete na pilay, an athlete na may injury, even if the athlete has the skill, nandiyan pa din yung skills niya.
Mm.
But he is currently injured. He won't have the same kind of performance. And the same thing with traders who are probably going through something that's probably pressuring them, probably not putting them in a state that will make them perform at their best. Then it's the same thing. You may have the skill, but it won't translate to the performance because mentally you aren't primed for it.
Gusto ko yun. Gusto ko yung analogy na yun, ma'am. Hindi, Miss Celeste pala. Miss Celeste. Gusto ko yun kasi nga, yeah, an athlete, even
Hmm.
even yung mga NBA player, nakita nyo naman, on their
Mhm.
prime, di ba?
Mhm.
Mga tinatawag natin yung GOAT, mga greatest
Mhm.
player of all time. Pero
Mhm.
pag na-injury sila, like let's say si Stephen Curry, nung injury siya, kahit ganun siya kagaling, kahit high scorer siya, wala. Hindi siya makapaglaro.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hindi mo, which is true rin, no? So, may mga times talaga, I do believe na may mga pag nandun ka sa right time and right place, even unskilled nga, kumikita eh. It
Mhm.
just so happen na nandun ka at the right time, di ba?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Pero madalas, if you are skilled but you are at the wrong time, alanganin din, which is
Mm.
true. Ay, gusto ko 'yun, gusto ko 'yun. If you are
Mm.
even yung skill mo, yung talent mo, yung knowledge mo nasa iyo pa rin, but if you are like injury nga or may life crisis ka, hindi mo talaga
Mm.
maximize yung potential mo, 'di ba? Parang ano,
Yeah.
wow! Para akong one-on-one session kay ma'am ngayon,
Hindi na siya nagsusmile.
Hindi, iniisip ko lang kasi baka mamaya yung pagka dumating ka dun sa ano niya, yung next level, yung NLP, ibang klase.
Ano,
Yeah.
O kasi ano na to eh, I'm not sure kung na-post mo na ba?
Oh no, I haven't posted about it. People don't know
So
it.
mukhang ikaw na yung makakaalam.
I'm
okay.
certified practitioner, associate practitioner of NLP. So I do NLP with clients and traders sa firm din.
So para
Wow.
siyang ano, parang kung nang-hypnotize na.
Hindi naman hypnotize.
Mga darling, alok ka naman dyan!
Hindi naman
Wala
hypnotize.
bang emoji ang YouTube? Ano lang, hanap tayo, pambihira. Kailangan natin celebrate yan.
Hindi, pero yeah, may ano yata siya eh. Nasubukan niya na sa akin before, ang galing lang nung session. Pero, ayun, parang siguro mas maganda kung siya mismo kasi mag-gani. Sabi ko nga sa kanya, mas maganda kung gawin niya like in person. Parang isang
Yes.
session, pag lang makita ng mga tao kung paano. Kasi, ang galing. Mas maganda kasi kung, ikaw nga explain mo nga, babe, paano.
Okay, paano ba? Ano bang gusto mo explain
Hindi,
ko
like
about
for example, hindi, di ba? Kasi normally, may mga ibang traders na may mga deep trauma. Tapos kailangan, parang halimbawa, lahat kayo alam yung plano. Tapos just because one trader, meron siyang prior trauma sa isang stock, hindi niya ma-execute ng tama. Tapos lahat ng iba, ma-execute nila. So parang, alam mo yon, and yun, with NLP, na reconcile niya yung mga ganong klaseng trauma. ang galing lang. Yun lang yung
I
sabi
agree
ko.
kasi may kilala ako ngang ano, eh, kasi medyo malaki yung talent sa isang particular not isa,
Stop.
actually dalawang
Oo.
particular stocks. So, I
Dalawa.
believe hanggang ngayon di pa niya
Tatago ba natin 'to sa
na-penetrate.
pangalang Batman?
Hindi ako yan. Actually nasa audience siya ngayon, so shoutout sa'yo, Brad. Hindi, sabi ko nga, yun nga kasi natu-trauma tayo even sa personal life experience 'di ba may mga gano'n parang,
Mm.
dati kunwari, nasagasaan ka in a way, parang ngayon natu-trauma ka ng dati kahit saang iskinita lang tatawid ka, ngayon parang kailangan mong humarap ng traffic light kasi nga medyo na-trauma ka na 'di ba?
Mm.
Or yung iba nag-aaral mag-bike, natumba, ayaw na mag-aral or mag-drive,
Mm.
may mga life
Mm.
experiences na ayaw na nating
Mm.
ulitin kasi may experience na tayong hindi maganda. Gano'n din sa trading, maraming magagandang setup pero it just so happen dati naipit ka or nasunugan ka, parang
Hmm.
sinusumpa nila parang di ko na ite-trade 'yan, kahit ang
Mm.
ganda-ganda ng pinapakita niyang movement, parang wala na.
Mm.
Kumbaga sa ano, parang na-delist na sa kanila yung stock na yun.
Madalas kayo po.
Parang
Mm.
ano na or naka-halt na yung ano na yun until such time. So how do you coach those kind of, personality ma'am or trader?
To understand how we coach them, we need to understand first how it happened. So
Hmm,
basically, what happened is something happened, right?
yeah,
They got into this probably negative state, and then they tried. So, for example, today, nangyari sa'yo yung ganon, it got you into this negative state, and then, so the days passed by, and then suddenly, it's the same stock, and
hmm,
then it makes you act the same way.
yeah.
Essentially, whatever that stock is, naging trigger mo siya to repeat the state that happened in the beginning. Human
Oh,
beings in itself, we get
yeah,
scripts that we undoubtedly follow every day. Like, think about it. When you wake up, may mga times na pag ganito yung gising mo, ganito na yung the rest ng araw mo. May times na pag ganito naman yung gising mo, ganito nakasama the rest ng araw mo. Because as human beings, we have scripts that we follow. And at that time, when bumagsak siguro yung stock or whatever happened to their trade, naging script siya, naging state. And now when the stock resurfaces again, it turns into another trigger and we just follow the script. In itself, nagkaroon siya ng expectation sa stock na yun, tapos nagiging self-fulfilling prophecy na lang siya.
oo, para siyang indicator and kapag maraming taong gumagamit, nagiging effective siya in a way. So, nagiging self-fulfilling prophecy na siya. So, gusto ko yun ma'am, para siyang repetitive behavior in a way 'no, para siyang
Mm. So the step one, of course, is to become aware of these things. What triggers you to start acting this way? So we can start by trying to relieve the scenario, check it from there. But how do we coach people like that? I can't really give you a straight answer
Mhm,
because when you coach someone, what I do, how to get Z out of a situation like that, might be different with how you can get out of it. Kasi iba-iba yung nag-work sa atin. For some people, they have to relive it. We have to learn techniques how to break that state. For other people, we have to reframe the situation. So either way, there's so many techniques that can be done, but paano ba talaga mabe-break? We don't know kasi it depends. It really depends kung ano yung mag-work sa taong yun.
yeah, wow, nice. So, ah, sa pakikinig ko sa'yo this past few minutes, may isang oras na ba tayo? Wala pa naman. Ay just parang talagang part ng psychology as a whole, gano'n siya ka-important 'no. So, maraming skills kasi sa trading 'no, yun yung you can identify yung let's say mga, an accountant, you can identify it through the fundamental side or you can trade on the technical side. Pero yung pang third dun is yung personality mo when you are in the trade, before and after you even trade it, right? Like ang may mga taong 'di ba, I believe narinig niya rin 'to or may nagsabi na sa inyo, "Gain na ako, eh, ngayon negative pa." Hindi ka
Mm.
nakapag hindi ka nakapag alam mo 'yun, gain ka na, hindi ka man lang kahit konti nakapag-take ng profit. Kasi
Mm.
medyo nagiging greedy ka na
Mhm.
or na certain times na na-hit yung cut loss mo, you did not exit.
Mm.
Kasi yung hope na yun ang pumapatay sa trader minsan, yung hope, eh, yung akala natin
Mm.
babalik sa dating presyo
Mm.
Mm.
or kagaya din ng sinabi mo like meron kang life crisis, then you cannot execute your trade actually in a full potential ng iyong skills, eh. Kasi
Mm.
marami kang iniisip, maraming nagba-block sa'yo. Meron
Mm.
akong, ano ba 'to, narinig nung kailan ba, few days ago, sabi niya ang sa hindi ko nakalimutan ko lang yung exact numbers 'no, pero it's a few thousand, yung mind daw natin pina-process niya within a day is a few thousands ideas. Out of
Mhm.
those few thousand ideas, 91% of those are the same,
Mhm.
repetitive na lang. So
Mm.
9% na lang everyday yung mga new ideas na nagpo-formulate sa atin.
Mm.
So kaya kaya mapapansin natin daw parang nagiging minsan monotonous yung life natin, like gano'n na lang yung ginagawa
Mhm.
natin. That's why we felt a bit bored in a way. Parang iniisip mo, ba't walang progress? Kasi hindi
Mm.
mo namamalayan yung malaking percentage ng idea mo within the day is also your idea from the
Uh-huh.
previous days or
Mhm.
months or years. So, that's
Mm.
why sabi niya, you really need to read, listen, para may pumasok na bagong idea sa'yo. Yun.
Hmm.
Yun lang. Anyway, na-share ko lang. So,
Maganda naman yung sharing mo.
so I sabi mo nga different person kasi yan 'no, different stroke 'no sa different. Pero in a way, meron ba tayong ma-a-advice sa ating mga nakikinig na on how do paano ba nila puwedeng i-handle yung emotion nila
Hmm.
when una, may lumipad na stocks, pero hindi nila
Mm.
chinyart, hindi nila wala sa watchlist nila. Yun muna yung tanong ko,
Mhm.
ma'am. So how
Hmm.
kahit may skill set ka, in a way may skills ka ha, pero hindi siya kasali sa watchlist mo or hindi mo siya
Mhm.
trade wala kang trade plan,
Okey.
lumipad 'to. Pero maganda yung setup, pero hindi siya kasali sa watchlist mo.
Mm.
Mm.
Ano yung emotion na puwede ba niyang in a way, i-trade yun or just stick lang dun sa mga watchlist niya? Yun muna, first question.
There's a lot of ways to answer that, eh. Like, puwede nga bang i-trade yun? I can say, if you approach it with the right expectations, yes. Like, for example, if you trade that ang expectation mo lang naman, ang objective mo is to learn, then okay, go ahead. For
Hmm,
example, like, kunyari, lumipad siya, bakit wala siya sa watchlist mo in the beginning?
yep.
That means there has to be a refinement in your watchlisting process. But
Hmm,
still, say, gusto mo talagang i-trade, pwede mo siyang i-trade, pero dapat ang objective mo na ngayon is not to make money from it, but
hmm,
to learn how to handle setups like that. So,
yun.
dun kasi nagkaka-mismatch minsan. Na-FOMO ka na nga, tapos sinakyan mo, pero ang expectation mo, yung kikitain mo, tulad ng mga taong nakita na siya before pa siya lumipad. So,
Hmm,
there's a mismatch in that sense pa lang. Pangalawa, the other thing that we have to think about is when people are really, really trying to enter that one stock na lumipad, there's a lot of um there's a lot of things about it that we could say. Like, for example, why is this happening? Is it out of scarcity mindset? Is this
oo.
person thinking that if they do not enter this trade, that they would have lost any other opportunity to make money for the rest of the week, the rest of their month, the rest of their life? There could be that. Baka may factor sa utak nila na they feel like there's always scarcity in them. That's one. baka kailangan yun yung i-focus ng trader talaga. I always tell my students or my clients sa firm, students sa DFT, na when you feel an emotion, the emotion is not a problem. It's the smoke towards the fire. It's the smoke of the fire. Find out why you felt that way. Kung na-FOMO ka ba, is it because the real problem is because you have a scarcity mindset that needs to be addressed? The emotion in itself is just data of something bigger lying deeper underneath you that has to be addressed later on, maybe once the crisis is over. But you wouldn't feel that way if you didn't have this kind of scarcity mindset anyway. The second one is if you are trying to catch every movement in the stock market, then maybe it indicates a bigger problem, which means you lack confidence in your system, in your strategy. Because if you have absolute confidence in your strategy, in your numbers, in your statistics, in your ratio, hindi ka maghahabol ng maraming stocks kasi you know by yourself na kahit yung setup mo lang or just by trading and doing whatever you do, you can make money. You don't need this, right? According to your data, you've proven you can make money even if you don't make this. So, yun.
Gusto ko yung sinabi mong confidence.
Ba't natawa ka?
Parang
Hindi kasi,
pang-issue yung sagot no?
oo nga eh, ang deep kasi, di ba?
Deep
Tapos
na
puro
paisip ka.
English sunod-sunod. Bakit na
Yung
nakaka-close?
realization. Gusto ko yun,
Alam
ma'am.
mo, hindi ko Inglesero.
Oo nga, Inglesero yan. Blue passport yan si boss eh.
mas mas magandang Englishero lang to eh. Kaya gano'n.
Tama yan,
Pero
no?
hindi, ang ganda nga kasi ng ano niya, na parang, ako nga, napapaisip din ako na, kasi minsan di ba nakaka-FOMO, especially paano kung may ceiling play or may malapit na mag-ceiling play. Parang katulad nung AR, nung nakarang araw, sa BHI, di ba? Halimbawa, out of nowhere yun eh. Biglang nagpapa, parang gagawin mo. Why are you feeling FOMO? Why is it something? Because ako, iniisip ko nga dun eh, parang, dapat ko ba itong sakyan kasi I want to prove to other people na magaling talaga akong trader? Alam mo yun? May mga ganun eh.
Lahat sila, meron ako, wala.
Exactly, di ba?
Na, Brad.
So parang ganun nga, na parang ako din napapaisip ako na, should I take this trade? Wala naman siya sa watchlist ko. So, bakit ko siya ito-trade? Di ba? Parang gano'n. Tapos naglalaban yan inner. Wala lang. Napa-reflect lang ako from what Celeste has been sharing.
Sabi nga nila, di ba? Confidence is not, I will profit on this trade. Confidence is, I will be fine if I don't profit from this trade. Yung confidence
ka din pala. Sabi ng poet.
Tapos,
kay Johan.
Ay!
Ayun, sa mga viewers natin. Hello.
Bago tayo tuloy.
Shout out
kay
daw
Sean.
kay Miso.
Napumomo din ako, syempre. Especially kung sa PSE. Kasi konti lang yung stock sa PSE eh. Parang kung hindi, di ba? Parang kung hindi mo nasakyan yun, bakit? So parang buti na lang may mga outlets or may mga ibang bagay na pwede mong ipag-list. So, okay lang. Pero yan, totoo may nakakaramdam pa rin ako ng FOMO. Although alam ko na sige, okay lang kasi may mga darating din yung setup ko, 'di ba? Saka kikita naman ako. So walang problema. Yun lang, kailangan mo lang mag-come to terms. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na matagal ka na sa market immune ka na sa mga ganitong bagay.
No, actually, you feel this way, this stuff, no matter how long you've been in the market. Ang mag-iiba lang is how you react
yung
to
approach
it.
mo.
Right?
O yung approach mo.
Dati siguro, the moment na ma-FOMO ka, wala nang isip-isip.
Bye na. Totoo.
After a while, ma-FOMO ka man, sasabihin mo na,
okay lang. Parang andun pa rin yung feeling. Pero it's parang accept mo na siya, you have already come to the terms na, hindi, okay lang kasi may darating pa namang bago.
Oo nga. Tsaka when you learn to let go of yung need mo to be right, di ba?
Yes.
So being wrong gradually lose its power to disturb you.
Oy, deep yun.
Ganda nun.
Di ba yan? Kasi nag-prepare ako, Ma'am Celeste. Pero yun lang yung tatlo lang kasi yun eh. So, nabanggit ko na yung dalawa. So, isa na lang. Ngayon, kasi, hindi na kaya ng brain cells ko eh. So, may mga tanong ba kayo dyan? Tanong-tanong kayo. Interesting tong topic natin. Para tayong kwentuhan, pero
Iba
The
yung
way Miss Celeste explained things.
Binibenta na naman
Oo
ako.
nga, hindi kasi ang dami talaga niyang mga hidden gems na parang hindi niya sinasabi yung mga alas niya eh.
Oo
Hindi,
nga,
kasi
kaya nga,
yung page ko kasi sa RSC, yung makikita mong mga tao in there are mostly new people. Some of them don't
Oo.
even trade. And if I post very deep trading stuff, they will feel alienated.
Oo.
And that's not our that's not our goal. Our goal
yes,
is to make people feel not through
they are
me,
one of us
oo,
that they can understand
yeah,
Oo.
that they can understand what we're saying. So I try to make it as friendly, as basic, as beginner as possible when you approach RFC. But content that are very deep, madalas sa firm ko siya pina-publish and madalas sa firm lang talaga and mostly sa coaching, one-on-one coaching scenarios na. But with the general public, I don't want them to feel intimidated by our field kasi
Oo.
as of now, marami na talagang ayaw mag-umpisa kasi nga nai-intimidate na sila and they see me, a girl, right? May ibang babae na makakita sa akin. Gusto ko mag-stock, tingnan nga natin 'to, girl na trader daw. Tapos makita nila mga post ko, hindi sila maka-relate. Mas lalo
Yeah.
silang hindi magte-trade. And doon ko iniisip na this public page of mine, which is Rooting for Celeste, attracts a lot of people from all shapes and all sizes. And if my goal is to help them attain their financial freedom through the stock market, it is my job to make it easy and digestible for them. Hindi ko namang goal magmukhang super genius or super guru. Hindi naman eh. Ang higher intention naman natin is to attract more people have control over their finances in the stock market.
Yun. Gusto ko yan. And actually rin, no, malaking factor din na naging guest namin si Jem Francisco a few weeks back and sabi niya kasi dapat daw mo muna is at least makontrol, ma-master mo yung personal finance mo
That's true.
before you even go to trading. Kasi kung let's say in a way burara ka sa pera on your personal matters, pag sa trading ganun ka rin. So hindi ka rin ganun mag-handle ng maganda sa yung trading, which is true, no? So Sir Jeff, question, should I close my trades ahead of important news? I guess anyway, boss. Si boss muna.
Para sa iyo yata tong tanong na to eh.
Pero syempre
Ikaw
kayo
din.
guest eh.
Sige. Pinas. Well,
Paso-paso lang yan.
ano ito eh, teka, paano ba? I think, Boss John, this is are you speaking from a local market scene or global? Kasi kung local, ako, I really stand by, hindi mo kailangan tingnan yung news sa local eh. Meron talagang price action na una talaga yung mga insiders and it's the charts that would really speak before anything else. I mean, hindi ko to nalaman ko lang na FA was a backdoor because somebody shared it to me na, meron palang ganyan. Nung nagte-trade siya below mga 30 cents, nakita na natin yan na parang, may something fishy dito. So, in that sense, hindi mo siya kailangan tingnan yung news kung sa Pilipinas ka. Pero kung sa global, kumbaga, ako na nga mismo ako di ba, sinasabi ko lagi sa audience ko, no news, no rumors, no tips, just the chart and you. That's true in the Philippine setting, but sa global, pagka lumabas yung earnings report, di ba, nag-gap up, nag-gap down. So, if you're talking from a perspective or from a context of a global scenario, I would suggest na hindi mo i-trade yun. Unless prior nakuha mo na, tas malalim yung kuha mo, then hawakan mo, pwede. Pero kung wala ka pang hawak dun sa stock na yun, tas lalabas ng earnings report, mas mabuting iwasan mo na lang.
Okay.
Kasi 50-50 ka dun eh.
But let's say, boss, ano na siya? Ang tawag dito? Nasa trade na eh.
Oo, ongoing.
And then, it just so happen merong
News
in a
na
way, paparating na important news. So,
well,
kunwari yun sa'yo, nakuha mo siya sa baba. 'di ba?
Oo.
Then prior to that, dun mo na lang nalaman na may possible backdoor si pa,
Okay.
correct?
So, ganito, I think, you have to first assess kung anong klaseng trader ka. Are you a trader? Are you an investor? Are you a speculator? So, if you're a trader and, for example, wala ka namang pakialam sa news, tas maganda naman yung trade para sa'yo, then pwede mo namang hawakan. Depende din talaga siya sa objective mo. I can't say that, sige, hawakan mo na lang or sige, benta mo lahat kasi ganyan. It really will depend on your personal preference, pati yung risk appetite mo. Now, if sa tingin mo merong lalabas na important news and it might significantly change the price, either up or down, halimbawa, you're not that confident, or even if, let's say, you're confident, the best way is to sell half. Sell
Yun ang
half of your
sasabihin ko
positions.
sana, good sa
Oh,
lahat.
by selling half of your positions, you're going to release that psychological pressure from your mind na, halimbawa, tumaas yung stock, at least kalahati lang yung nabenta mo, hindi mo nabenta lahat. Pag bumagsak siya, at least kalahati lang yung nabenta mo na at a high price before siya bumagsak. Either way,
Yun,
you win
yun,
psychologically. And it's a
psychology.
good strategy for the risk management sa part
And
din.
bababa yung burden o yung iniisip mo na ano pa kaya
Yes.
mangyayari dito.
Makakatulog ka ng mahimbing.
Ikaw, ma'am, sabi question to madam daw yun eh.
Ako pala yung sumagot, sorry.
Okay
Hindi
lang,
ko
okay
nakita
lang.
yung ano eh. Hindi ko nakita yung
Ito kanya-kanyang ano naman yan, which is good. Nahuli lang, nahuli lang.
Oo. Ayun, sabi niya ni John Forex. Ay, hindi ako nagpa-Forex, sorry.
Okay, so ganito, Forex. Sa firm kasi Forex traders lang talaga. And what I can really tell you about Forex traders, lalo na sa firm namin, bawal kasi na may weekend hold. Dapat before the weekend, sell all your positions. And I
Oo.
see a lot of people naman make really good money with it. So, the way I could answer this is the same. I'm not sure if you're gonna like it, but it will be the truest answer. The truest answer is this: what works for you? Because I've seen traders who trade during very volatile news season and make a killing. Talagang kahit na yun lang yung time na mag-trade sila sa taon, okay na sila. And then there
Hmm.
are traders who will never touch the markets during the season. I've seen scalpers who only trade scalpers. Okay, scalpers. We all know what scalpers do. Minutes, seconds, ganyan sila mag-trade. I've seen scalpers who trade only 3 trades a week, make good money as in full-time trader. There, I've seen traders who only trade the first 10 minutes of the open, make good money. So, if I tell you right now na, sell mo na lang yan, or, go ahead, I might be doing something that might hinder you from your truest potential. Like, for example, out of my own belief, I believe dapat you're not in the market during very volatile seasons. But what if dun ka nagte-thrive? What if sa volatility ka magaling kumita? What if scalper ka pala nun? Isang ganon, kaya mo kitain, sell ka kagad. What if ganon ka? So I can't tell you the exact answer to this, but what I can do say is know your strength. If your strength is no, if your strength is in volatility, if your strength is in extreme ranging movement, maybe it's for you. But if, for example, ayaw mo ng stressful, gusto mo sakto lang, baka hindi yun yung environment for you. So whatever fits you, that's the correct answer. I can't tell you what to do kasi hindi naman ako ikaw.
Okay. Anyway, kahit pure technical trader 'tong si boss and madam, let's see. Paano po ba masasabi na ang particular stock sa dami ng news at hype, the price has had already discounted by the market? Tulad
Tulad
ng
ng dito.
dito, doon, and ngayon, now. Hindi, joke lang.
Oo.
Joke lang.
Well, ah, hindi kasi ano naman eh, I mean, how I approach the market is talagang pure price action. Para mabawasan yung yung subjectivity nung pag-analyze mo. Kasi halimbawa yung news, yung hype, I mean siguro matagal na tayo sa market, nakikita na natin you can pay news article writers to write about your company for 50,000 pesos. Hindi ko na sasabihin kung sino. Pero may mga ganon na there are really entities that do this. And I think, and I believe pa rin na if you're trading the Philippine stock market, it's better if you base pa rin on your price action. Kasi yan, hindi ka lolokohin yan eh. Yung mga news na yan, pwede kang maloko kung nagpaloko ka, kung nagpa-inlove ka dun sa story. But do know that as long as, like, for example, yung simple indicators as like moving averages, lagyan mo ng Darvas to tell you kung nag-end na ba yung trend o hindi. Kasi hindi naman forever yan aakit yung stock eh. Meron stocks, they move in cycles. I mean, whoever thought that, let's say, Jollibee or Tel, the biggest companies of their time, would go down, right? Hindi ibig sabihin na dahil sa sobrang ganda ng company, hindi na babagsak. So you have to understand that the market moves in cycles and that you have to understand the basic trend principles. By doing that, you don't even have to listen to the news, the hype. Save yourself from all the stress. The
Yun,
news,
save
pwede
yourself.
naman, I mean, kung, let's say for example, you're the type of person na minimix mo yung news or yung fundamentals sa technicals, pwede naman. These strategies, they work. I mean, for other people, for some people, for most, lahat ng strategy gumagana. Kailangan mo lang talaga hanapin kung ano yung perfect mix para sa'yo. So, ayan, hindi ko, don't even, kumbaga, wag kayong, kung ano yung sa tingin yung advice na galing sa akin that works for you, then use that. Kung sa tingin niyo yung some of my advice isn't working for you or is it bullshit, then wag niyo nang gamitin. Simple as that.
Good, gusto ko yun. Yung mga pwede nyo magamit, pulutin nyo. Yung mga hindi, itapon nyo. Ganun lang. Or gusto nyo i-set aside nyo, malay nyo in the future magagamit nyo rin.
Mm.
'Di ba? O maaaring yung mga nasabi ng iba or nabasa yung post, maaaring during this particular season hindi pa siya applicable sa inyo, but
Hindi pa
eventually
uso.
hindi pa uso. I mean, kasi unless na
Oh,
ma-experience mo, dun mo lang masasabing, tama
magigets.
pala siya, no?
Mm.
Kasi pag hindi pa, wala ka pa dun, parang madali siyang sway away, no? Parang, ano ba yun? Pinagsasabi mo, kaya ko to. Then,
Mm.
pag na-experience mo na, yun pala. Di ba? So,
Mm.
Miss Celeste and boss, naniniwala ba kayo na ang yung mga failure tsaka losses are good for you as a trader?
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, ladies first. Ladies
Ladies
choice.
first.
Of course. Kasi, actually, medyo connected siya dito sa tanong ni Folmer.
Mm.
You don't really know kasi. Like, ang tanong ni Folmer na kung kailan factored in. You
Mm.
only know if it's factored in if the market tells you so. Like, for example, that's why we should trade reactively, not predictively. Like,
Yun.
hindi ka dapat nag-trade na parang, sa tingin ko, pag dito factored in na. Paano ko sabi ng market, hindi, akyat pa, this has more value. It's the same kind of people who create a business and they think they have a brilliant business idea kasi pupush nila sa market. Pero sa tingin naman ng market,
Hindi.
hindi type. Okay. Feeling ko useless yan. Ganyan. So kahit gaano ka-brilliant yung idea, if the market judges na doesn't work, ganun talaga. The same thing with trading. Even if sabihin natin, dapat at this level, enough na factored in na, ito na talaga dapat. Paano ko sabi pa ng market? Sa tingin namin, mas may value pa dyan, akyat pa. Kailangan mo bang ipilit yung belief mo? The person who has the most flexibility wins in any conversation and wins in any argument. At the same time, we talk about failure. If you think you're doing the right thing, but everyone sees na parang hindi yung approach mo pwede pa dapat mag-work yan, yung approach mo pwede pang ma-refine yan. Do you have to be stubborn about that fact or do you improve? So a lot of times we're blindsided with things. Lalo na if we're attached to it. Like the more attached you are to something, the more you wanna make it work, the more blindsided you are to its improvements and to its flaws. So when people tell you that this is a failure, they're actually doing you a favor. Kasi
Mm.
you never would have seen it kasi you're too in love with it, right? So when you see a failure like that, like the only people I think who have a problem with failure are those who don't believe in improvement,
Mm.
or those who think na they have to get it at the first try.
Fixed mindset.
Yung parang pag nagkamali ako, kakahiya, ayoko na, huwag na
Mm.
lang, ganyan. But alam mo kasi like, I think the public people have very short memory in things like this. That's why you see a lot of people fail so many times, but suddenly they hit it one time, one big time, makakalimutan na uli yung lahat ng kalokohang ginawa in the past.
Or vice
Like,
versa.
yeah, or vice versa. So, don't get too attached with your failures right now. Because if you keep improving, if you use it as a stairway, as a
Mm.
stone for you to step on, every time someone tells you na mali ka dapat, ganito yung ginawa mo, tapos may point siya, tapos nag-adjust ka, flexible ka, stone mo siya, paakyat pa, and then eventually one day you're gonna break through, and people won't even see that you built your success over all your failures and feedback.
And I
Yun.
thank you.
Thank you. From sa bayan ng.
Actually,
Sa
one
bayan
one
ng.
one good trade does not define you, and also one big loss doesn't also define you as a
Yes.
whole, 'di ba? And do you believe also in this, boss and Miss Celeste, na when your expectation is low,
Mm.
it's very hard to fail.
Ano yun ulit? When your expectation is
Ulit
low,
daw, ulit daw.
It's very hard to fail. I mean, kasi when your expectation is low, alam mo 'yun, yung even
oh,
even
yes.
even the failure itself is not that
Mm. Maliit lang yung risk.
maliit lang, hindi malaking impact, big
Oo.
impact sa'yo.
Oo.
So, do you believe in that saying? And I thank you also.
I would believe in that. Kasi siyempre kung maliit lang, I mean, normally pagka binibigyan mo yung sarili mo ng konting leeway for mistakes, yeah, sobrang liit lang ng, kumbaga, ng ng chances mo to make a mistake. Pero sa akin, like, in connection to the first question, which is, um, ano yan, yung mistakes is important. Yes, I really believe na, especially if you're a young person,
Mm.
um, go and risk, go and make mistakes. I always tell the people in my company, in ZFT, in Trading Republic, you know what? Huwag kayong matakot magkamali. If it doesn't work on the first try, if it doesn't work on the second or the third try, let's improve until we get it, until we get the best result. Kasi if natatakot ka to make mistake, para siyang you're already hindering yourself from the potential that what could be. ZFT, the company that we created, TR, the community, all of those, even Zfix na persona, is a culmination, or yun yung naging resulta ng mga maraming mistakes na nangyari. And I'm proud of those mistakes because those are the ones that made me wiser and better.
Yun, tama yun, 'di ba? Parang if kung hindi ka natuto sa mga pagkakamali mo, I don't know, what to call you already. Wow, may already 'no? Nasa Singapore na Singapore already. Anyway, ah, Miss Celeste,
Ako
ah,
naman.
eto,
Yung
ah,
sagutin ko yung
failure
tanong niya.
sagutin mo muna yan tapos meron pa akong
Okay,
bago.
sige, sige.
Yung tanong ka pa ulit.
Sorry,
Sige,
sorry,
sige,
sorry.
sige.
Na-excite lang
So,
ako, sorry.
yung sinabi mo na, keep your expectations low and it's very hard to fail. Well, for me, hindi eh.
Hmm,
Baka may nasagot.
Sige.
gusto ko yan.
Yung sagot ko is, I always have high expectations. Always. Always. Because I have high standards of excellence even for myself. But the objective has to be right. Like,
Hmm,
for example, if my objective is to learn, then I have high expectations of myself that I will have to do everything in my commitment to it to learn. If my objective is to become financially free, then I expect myself to do everything in my power to do that without sacrificing my morality. As long as tama yung objective, I don't mind having high expectations kasi hindi naman talaga ako takot mag-fail. I
Yo,
feel like if you've been a trader for this long, magsi 6 years na ako sa market, dapat di ka natakot sa failure kasi
Mhm.
ilang beses mo nang kinain,
oo
ilang
nga,
beses mo nang ginuya, linunok, kinain ng failure at bumangon ulit the next time. By this time, you should have learned that failure doesn't kill you. Really, it just makes you, it just gives you a better feedback for next
Mhm.
time. So yeah, I still have high expectations on things, but I just make sure na tama yung objective ko.
yun, power. Yes Sir Lico, puwede po magtanong, type niyo lang. So, sabihin ko na lang, sabi nga nila 'di ba, what do you call this one? Aim for the stars sabi.
Mm.
Kung hindi ka man tumama, at least you land on the moon.
Alam mo
Hmm,
ba, sir, no, may nag-post na hindi nila gusto daw yan. Kasi mas malapit naman daw talaga yung moon kesa sa stars. So wala lang, shinare ko lang din sa'yo.
oo.
So aim for the moon. I aim for
Aim for
the
the stars.
stars.
Stars,
Para
at
you
least
can land on the moon.
kasi mas malapit yung moon, eh. To the moon daw, to the moon.
Inaccurate yung ano.
Inaccurate pala siya sa astrology.
Tapos sumikat
So,
bigla, no?
oo nga. How
Pakita ko
about
na
this?
sa'yo.
Your mental health and your mental and physical health comes first. Everything else is secondary.
Ano
How?
na ulit?
Yung
Every
mental and physical health
Oo,
daw comes
oo.
first. Everything
first
else
and
is
everything else is
Totoo,
secondary.
totoo. Yes,
Is it do you agree with that?
I agree.
I agree. Kasi, okay, ganito. You
Ay,
can't
baliktad
be,
pala, sorry ma'am, bago sagutin. Aim for the moon. At least yun lang, and you will land on the stars kasi mas marami sila. Sorry, nabaliktad lang po. Which is, gusto ko yan. You corrected me. Corrected by. Saan din? Okay, anyway ma'am. Yeah, balik tayo doon. So, yung mental health and physical health mo,
oo. Kasi ikaw yung biggest edge eh. So, sino ba nakapanood na nung Queen's Gambit?
hmm,
Malamang madami.
hindi
No?
ko pa na ano eh. Pero,
Oh,
alam ko
spoilers ka nito.
Sorry, pero ang point ko kasi dito, yung strategy mo, yan yung offense mo. Yung risk management mo, yan yung defense mo. Trading psychology, yan yung player. So
wala na.
kahit na gaano ka kagaling, kahit gaano ka ka-skilled, if hindi mo inalagaan yung sarili mo, you will not perform. That's why we see high-level athletes na ano ba yung NBA, high star, all-star na sa NBA. Minsan, pag high pressure na yung game, hindi pa rin nasushoot yung free throw. Kasi
Hmm.
nga, mess up na yung mental game nila. When you watch Queen's Gambit, there are times na natatalo siya kasi tilted siya or wala siyang tulog. Nangyayari talaga yon. And we can't deny this. We can't deny this. There are people na sobrang inaral naman talaga nila yung exam. Tapos on the day of their exam, di sila
Mental block.
nakasagot na mental block. So the question is not really skill. It's performance. And for you to translate skill to performance, you have to be at a good state. So you can't trade excellently if the rest of your life is chaotic. Ikaw ba, pag sinabi ko sa'yo na yung isang trader, buong araw, napaka-indisciplined niya, lahat ng sasabihin niya na commitment niya, di niya ginagawa, wala talaga siyang disiplina, tapos suddenly, pag nag-trade siya, napaka-disiplinado niya. Is that even possible? It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not, because trading is just a reflection of a trader. A lot of
Hmm.
times the problem with a person's trading is not in their strategy, but in their own self. Like maybe the trader has a problem. Like I remember one student asked me, sabi niya, Coach Celeste, I don't understand. Ang ganda ng plan ko. Sinishare ko pa nga siya, nakikita ng iba. Pero hindi ko siya na-execute. Talagang hindi ko nagagawa. Yung mga na-sharean ko, in-execute nila yung plan ko. Kumita sila. Ako hindi pa. So I asked him, ganyan ka ba in real life? Na pag sinabi mo na gagawin mo ang isang bagay, alam mo hindi mo naman talaga siya gagawin. Tapos natawa siya kasi kilala pala talaga siyang gano'n ng mga kaibigan niya. Na pag sinabi niya, "O sige Brad, pupunta ako." Alam nilang hindi siya tutuloy. Wala
Hmm.
siyang commitment sa
Mm.
word niya. And now, that spills into his trading. That he says he's gonna do this, but when the pressure is on, when he really needs to deliver, sanay siya kasi may habit siya of not following through whatever he said or planned to do.
Yun. Ito
Ito
na ano
yung
natin kanina, ang galing ng
ma
explanation ni Miss Celeste.
Oo.
Power.
Ito yung state niya 'pag nagco-coach siya sa FTMO.
Gusto ko yan.
Ganitong
Para
quoting,
tayo
ganitong ano,
nagco-coach. Oo.
Ganon-ganon ka.
halata ko na alam ko na yan, eh.
So, habang nag-uusap tayo, so it all starts in the mind talaga, no? Ito yung most crucial skill, yung how you think. Is it? 'Di ba? It's all in the mind. Parang kahit kaya mo 'pag naunahan ka ng, "Ay hindi, wala na," 'no? Parang gano'n, eh, nauunahan ka. So, eto si Sir, sabi niya, eto si Sir, "What mental techniques do you apply to stay patient?"
Mental techniques. Breathing. That's one. Hinga
Yeah?
ka muna. That sounds funny.
Mm.
But it's actually
That's
very powerful mental technique.
si
Wim
Wolfman,
Hof.
Wim Hof. Wim Hof nga.
So one of the things that you could do when you feel like you have to make a decision right this moment, when you feel impatient, yung moment na ang lakas ng urge na kailangan gawin ko na ngayon na, naka-fight or flight mode ka nun. So, konting biology sa utak kasi natin. So, before we could get to rational thinking, dumadaan talaga siya sa emotional area ng brain natin. And pag napunta sa emotional brain natin yung data, kung ano man yung nakikita natin, minsan fight or flight na. Yun na yung point na impatient ka, nagmamadali ka, there's so much urge. Pag nandun ka, kailangang i-slow down mo yun bago ka makapag-rational thinking. And one of the best ways to do that is to breathe properly, start meditating. Like, I know that sounds a little phony, but it's actually backed by a lot of science. The moment you start convincing yourself that you are not in danger, that's the only time you can start thinking rationally. I'm gonna give you an example. Do people in danger do rational things? Diba hindi? Diba bigla silang nagbubuhat ng mga ref pag may bintol, bigla nilang kakalabanin kung sino man yung nang-hold up sa kanila o hahabulin nila yan. People don't think rationally when they are impatient, feeling out of urgent. Kasi that's being emotional. And being too emotional, okay, that's a difference kasi emotions will always be there. But being overdriven by your emotions is a different matter. So what we're gonna try to do na lang is when you're being impatient, you have to slow yourself down. Mapapansin mo, iba yung breathing mo pagka nagmamadali ka. Mabilis din yung breathing mo. Naka-crouch, iba. Mapapansin mo yan. Iba yung state. So what you're gonna try to do is to act out a state of patience. Right? Like, think back to the entire time in your whole life. How do you act when you're being patient? Pag chill ka lang. Paano
Yes.
ba? Paano ka nakaupo? Paano ka humihinga? What do you do? Act it out.
Mas may example na lang. Mas maganda yun, eh.
Anong
Marami ding
example?
mga listeners. Hindi, kasi pinapasample niyo sa akin, eh. Like, for example,
Napagod
right
ako
now,
Anong gusto mo?
hindi, kasi ginawa mo to sa akin before. Even kay Tony Robbins, pinakita niyo yung ganitong klaseng exercise. Like, subukan nyo.
Sige,
Everybody who's listening as
Okay,
well,
everybody's listening.
try
So, gagawin
nyo
natin
na
to.
mag-slouch kayo.
Gagawin natin kay John,
sige.
pasyente tayo.
Okay.
Okay, ganito. Ganito
Okay.
gagawin. So, what you're gonna do is just, slouch a bit. Slouch a bit. Drop your shoulders. Makikita nyo pa ba siya? Drop your shoulders. Chin down. Buntukin na nga. Okay. Can you tell me your name? Introduce yourself to us.
My name is George.
Okay. So you heard that. Now, let's change his physiology. So straighten up your spine. Chin up, chest up. Breathe. Tell us your name.
My name is George.
Did you see the difference? And all we really did is change his posture. Like when you do this, you're intentionally telling your mind that you are not in a powerful state. You might be in a fight or flight mode, you might be in a depressed mode, you might be in an emotional mode. But if you do this, there's an instant feeling a rush of power. In NLP, we do the same thing. So, for example, focus, a person's state is a trifecta of things. My focus, my physiology, my language. Language is how you talk to yourself. Physiology is what we did. Pinalitan natin yung physiology niya from a tired, depressed, emotional, really negative state to a powerful one and to someone who's more in control. So whenever you feel like you're losing control, whenever you feel being impatient or you think that the market is controlling you, snap your physiology back to power mode. Try to breathe a little bit, just calm your breathing, and then reassess what your options are.
And thank you.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Oo, meron ako nung nakaraan sabi ko dun, remain calm in every situation because peace equals power.
Yun! O, yan na yung
Yun
term.
yung pangatlo mo.
Hindi, sabi niya third na yung kanina.
Tawa ko lang agad, wait lang magre-retrieve lang
Sobra.
ako.
Wala ka na sa kabila sa next ano mo.
So, okay, okay, now, what do you call this one? So, starting out, sa nag-uumpisa, strategy matters more. Then eventually, over time, as you gain experience, psychology is the difference between the
Yes.
two.
Wow. Oh my
Pwede na ba
God.
ako? Pwede?
Ito, idagdag
Pwede, pwede
natin
ba ako?
yan. Idagdag natin yan.
Dagdag
Risk
natin.
management will get you from step 1 to step 2. Kasi hindi ka magsusurvive hanggang sa dulo kung wala kang risk
Power, power, power!
management. Power!
Minutes na ako, mga darling. Anyways, siya, meron siyang tanong. Bago ako mag-isip, basahin muna natin yan. So, how to prepare mentally if we are coming from a bull run. Let's say, medyo hype ka, di ba? Iba yung pakiramdam mo. Then, we transition from the open chest and shoulder down to
Yeah.
transitioning
Power
to the
step.
crouching. How do you
There.
get rid of the Superman mentality, I guess?
Ikaw muna. Para naman ma-hear out naman nila yung sagot mo.
Sa akin, it's
Nakailang
best
cycle ka
talaga,
na.
best way talaga for this is take a break. Like, it's the same thing when, halimbawa, nagsunod-sunod kang loss. Take a break. Kasi, for example, if you're in a winning streak, tapos let's say, nag-turn yung market, tapos aggressive trading ka, and then you
Mm.
lost some money, the best way talaga to neutralize the greed factor is to take a break. Like, do things that you love doing prior to, kung lagi kang nakatutok sa market, lagi kang execute and planning, step back for a bit and spend time on the hobbies that matter to you or yung mga ginagawa mo before. This way, pagbalik mo sa market, you're gonna see it in a perspective na neutral ka na. Yung parang, sige, okay, what is the market telling? What is the market telling me? Nandito ba yung mga setups ko? Am I ready to trade? Kasi magkakaroon ka ng a bit of ng confidence na, sige, may confidence ka, but at the same time, you're also wary. Meaning, maingat ka. As opposed to, halimbawa, kung sunod-sunod yung panalo mo, yung iisipin mo kasi nito, most likely is, uy, nanalo ako nung isang trading. Sige nga, ulitin ko to kasi nasa winning streak ako eh. Maganda yung market ngayon. So, yung risk nun, hindi mo masyadong maiisip. Kasi parang recency bias. Nanalo ako dati eh, mananalo ulit ako. So parang in that sense, yung sense of risk mo or yung danger, mas nababawasan. Kaya taking a break will help create a balance dun sa state mo. Right. How about you?
You, ma'am. Miss
So masterclass, I've always thought that right in the beginning, before we even get to the technical part. Kasi yung masterclass namin divided yan eh. So for 1 month, sa akin muna sila. Before they even touch technical analysis, they stay with me. We fix their mindset first, right? So one of the things we do at that point is I ask them to create a disaster plan. A disaster plan is parang purge parameter. Kumbaga, dapat ito yung mga ma-hit na stuff. Pag na-hit yun, ibig sabihin, tigil ka muna, mag-purge ka muna. Because it's very hard when a person is winning to stop trading. They really need to get hit first. But the point is, the moment they get hit after that, they know when to stop. So before it even happens, dapat meron na talagang list for you to know when to stop trading. Kasama doon yung pagsunod-sunod yung panalo mo. Then that way, kasi madalas ang risk of ruin, nangyayari yan, not at your first loss. It's after that first loss, din talaga nag-snowball. It's when, lagi akong panalo, tapos natalo ko just now. Papatunayan ko na magaling pa din ako. Ayan. Diyan na talaga. Lalo na tignan mag-bear market. So, stop. Next stop. Next step. Mag-withdraw ka ng pera.
Para kahit
Kunin
ang
mo,
gusto mo mag-trade, wala kang matitrade.
kunin mo yung profits mo. Ilabas mo yan. Ibigay mo sa misis mo. O ilagay mo sa lupa. Mag-invest ka sa ibang bagay. Kasi hindi naman dapat yung trading yung set what isn't trading isn't supposed to be what sets you off and also what kills you. So if it makes you money, good for you. Take that money, invest it elsewhere para diversified ka. Tanggapin mo natin, yung risk ng being trader, malaki talaga. The only thing that we can do to mitigate that risk is what we do with the money once we make it. So
Gusto ko yun.
take
Gusto ko yun.
that money out, invest it, have fun with it, reward yourself, put it somewhere else. Para back to zero ka. Pero hopefully naman, it took a break during that time.
Oo nga,
Right?
bumili ka ng KitKat, have a break, have a KitKat. Yeah.
Netflix din,
Walay na naman, Jeff. Anyway, kasi ang market will always supply unexpected changes yan eh. So, learn to flow with it. Don't resist. Yun. Meron tayo dito. Another one. Good day. Good day po sa inyo, Sir Christopher. In what stage of your trading life did you learn or embed
Break lang ako saglit lang.
Okay, sige, go.
the art of
Si Daddy.
at what point?
Ito kasasama daw si Misho. Punta nga yung daddy ko.
This boy si Mishu ah.
Tayo na lang, guys. Wala nang
Sige,
kalaban.
Yan. Okay. Yung mga papalupitang high performance skills na tayo ngayon. Umpisa natin dito, Miss Celeste.
Good day, mga bossing. In what stage of your trading life did you learn or embed in your trading strategy the art of your cutting? Maaga to. Ganito kasi, no, siguro hindi mo naabutan yung story ko kung paano ako naging mentee ni Z. Para tanggapin niya ako sa mentorship niya, binigyan niya ako ng 30 minutes para i-cut lahat ng losses ko.
Ganon? Iba din. So, ano yung ano sa isip mo nun?
Ganito yan, no? So, 10 months na. Wala na si Z. Tayo nila. Kwento ko na. So, 10 months na. Minessage ko siya. Hindi siya kilalan. Parang minessage ko lang siya. Nakita ko lang na itong taong to, yung strategy niya, which is technical analysis, which is something I wasn't really familiar with in the beginning, is working. Even if people are losing money, he's actually making money. He probably knows something I don't. So I messaged him. I said, pa-mentor po. Sabi nga, pag-iisipan niya. Hindi talaga siya pumayag agad. And then I remember that was my day off. Day off ko yun. Di ko alam ko Friday or Saturday. Day off ko as a nurse. And it was around, it was almost break time sa PSE. So it was very early in the morning. Biglang nag-message si Z-Freak. Sabi niya, are you really committed to being my student? I want to know. Sabi ko naman.
Siyempre,
diba? Pagkakataon ko, yes! yes! I'm going to give you 30 minutes kasi in 30 minutes, lunch break na ng PSE. Cut all your losses now. Oh my goodness. That was very, 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 very hard. Kasi yung losses ko noon, ang laki. Like, may mga 20% down ako, may 50% down ako. For me to suddenly cut it in 30 minutes without like, Yung talagang tatanggapin ko na wala na 'tong perang 'to. 10 months ng sahod ko dito ko lahat pinagkay. Inutang ko pa sa magulang ko yung pera kong pinang-umpisa. For me to suddenly decide that in 30 minutes, there was a radical change in me. Obviously, naging mentee nga ako, so that means I did cut my losses 5 minutes before. Diyan siya. 5 minutes before the time strikes. But ever since then, I kind of made a promise to myself na I shouldn't have to cut my losses only when it's that deep.
Mm.
Dapat umpisa pa lang, sugat pa lang, tama na. Huwag mo nang palakihin. And ganun, never ako nagkaroon ng problema with cutting losses afterwards. Ang naging problema ko is executing, yung magba-buy. Takot ako kasi wala na akong tiwala sa sarili ko. Yun yung naging issue ko. Pero cutting losses, ever since pinag-cut niya ako para lang maging estudyante niya, naging second nature ko.
Boss, habang wala ka, ang dami niyang, ay, yan. Boss, habang wala ka, ang dami niyang kinuwento. But anyway, kung
Talaga
gusto
ba?
mo, kung gusto mo na lang, nasa 1 hour, 40 minutes tayo. So, i-replay mo na lang. Or pwede kong i-cut yung
Sige,
video,
sige.
Ma'am Celeste. Ano gusto mo? Pwede ba panoorin? Pwede kong i-cut to
Parang,
eh. Di ba? Para, anyway, pwede naman natin pag-usapan yan, boss. Baka naman.
ano parang naalala ko naman yun eh. Parang alam ko na yung context. Yung pinakat ko sa nung within 10 minutes at or 15 minutes.
Grabe ka, no?
Oh, lahat kasi ng mga dati yung mga estudyante na tinuturuan ko for free, kailangan dumaan sa butas ng karayom eh. So, ayun, isa yun sa mga requirements ko para sa kanya especially kasi sabi ko, seryoso ba talaga to? Gusto ba talaga magpaturo nito? Baka sa tingin ko interesado lang eh. Kung maraming ganun kasi 'di ba na parang hanggang boss, paano ba maging estudyante mo? Especially before. Ngayon eh once a year na lang ako nagme-mentor eh. So, dati talagang paano ko ba malaman kung ang estudyante na to ay seryoso o hindi? So kailangan alamin ko muna kung ano yung background nila, kung ano yung hawak nila, tapos drop the bomb. Bigyan mo ng mga 15 minutes para i-execute lahat. Kung hindi ka pwedeng maging estudyante. Mahina yung resolve. Ganun.
Yun. So actually, pag ganun, no, yung worry yung pumapatay sa atin, hindi yung actual loss. Parang ganun. In a way. Yung nawo-worry
Actually, yung
tayo.
point na yung point na tatanggapin mong nagkamali ka, yun yung masakit.
Yung ego,
Matagal
no?
mong pinanindigan yun eh. Pinanindigan mo yung loss na yun eh.
Pinagpuyatan ko to eh. Tapos, sabihin mo lang sa akin, cut. But,
Saka every time na naglalagay ka ng pera doon, nagdadagdag ka ng conviction. Average down. Conviction yun eh.
Naalala ko yung pinaka-excuse mo doon was hindi ko pwede
i-cut
to dahil sa mga magulang ko to. Which is totoo naman. Pero para sa akin, mali na yung ginagawa mo eh. If gusto mo talaga matuto ng way ko, kailangan clean slate ka. Kaya, kumbaga, if people would come to me, ask, ano bang gagawin ko? Ito yung mga losses ko. First, sabihin ko, ano ba yung naging plano mo nung binili mo yung stock na yan? Para lang self-reflection. It's not for me, per se, na parang ma-assess ko kung ano ba talaga. It's really something that people should reflect on. Na, bakit ba ako humingi ng advice sa mga taong to? Is it because naghanap lang ako ng kakampi? Kasi minsan ganun lang yung ibang tao eh, parang naghahanap lang sila ng kakampi na tama naman pala yung decision ko, nahawakan lang to na mag-invest dito sa stock na to. Pero kung yung decision mo is or yung conviction mo is nararattle na shake and gusto mo matuto ng, let's say, on a certain person, like for example sa amin sa ZFT, kailangan mag-start ka somewhere na start from scratch talaga. Ibig sabihin, kung ano mang natutunan mo before, sa'yo na yun. Leave it behind. Those are baggage that we don't need moving forward. Kasi in the end, kumbaga pinapadali ko lang yung process para sa'yo. Masakit, yes, kasi hindi siya, kumbaga cold turkey, di ba? Lahat kinat mo, hindi siya yung parang slowly, kakat mo na yan, isa per day. Ako, hindi ganun. Parang, make it traumatic enough. Na, masakit siya, pero tatatak siya sa'yo forever. Na hindi mo na to ulitin na mistake kasi masakit.
Parang killing me softly, no, boss? Ayaw mo nun, no?
Oh.
Parang one-shot kill tayo dyan. So in a way, we cannot stop or we cannot really predict na matatalo tayo. We cannot avoid losses,
Yes.
right? But instead, make sure na hindi siya nag-out of hand. Hindi na siya lumalaki. Which is, sabi nga ni Miss Celeste, maliit na sugat pa lang, alam mo na yan. Takpan mo na, ayusin mo na. Huwag mo nang hintayin dumugo pa ng marami. Di ba? Mas mahirap kasi. Sabi nga, prevention is better than cure. Wow. Dahil
Wow!
dyan, nurse si ma'am
Sabi mo
Kaya
na.
nilagyan natin ng konting health.
Oo.
Any question po sa inyo? Naku, magdadalawang oras na tayo. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagpapaunlak, Miss Celeste. Wala pa bang question dyan? Kung wala, I'm giving you 5 minutes to cut or to type your questions or else. No, just kidding. Yun po. Pa-shout out. Ayun, shout out kay Idol Allen. Shout out,
Ayan.
Nom. Sabi ni Sir Sian, I believe in purge. Pinagdaanan ko 3 purges. Nakatulong sa pagiging manhid ko sa cut losses. Ayun, sabi ni Sir, thank you so much sa sharing. Oo, para tayo nag-session ng special session ngayon. Hindi siya parang group, para siyang one-on-one nga eh. So, i-absorb nyo yung mga food for thought, nuggets of learnings and wisdom na binigay sa atin ni Ma'am Celeste. Sa iba, binabayaran siya. Sa atin, binigay lang na libre. Kaya power tayo.
Oo.
Di ba? Yung mga ganyan eh. Naku. Yung iba nga, di ba? Nagpapabook pa kay Ma'am Celeste para lang makausap siya ng ganyan.
Okay lang.
So, how to... Ano ba? The best po ito. Bro, ano na daw kayo si Kuya, housemate ko. The best po ito. Ganun. Okay yan.
Pichi-pichi pa ako sa baba. Gusto mo.
Sabi nga ni Mark Douglas, di ba? Every moment in the market is unique.
Wow.
Which is I agree. So, wala na po ba? Pambihira. Ngayon, sulitin nyo na.
Oo nga, ang laki ng bayad nito sa FTM.
Oo nga. Ako nang bahala sa inyo. Magda-download na lang ako ng coffee. Miss Celeste, paki-download mo na lang.
Ayan, may isang tanong.
Ng coffee, tapos download mo.
Can or not?
Yun. Is part of this drama consultation.
Okay.
Well, for now, actually, to be very honest, very, very transparent, Kim. I've been very busy. Like I said earlier, my priority right now is my dad. You know, he's my top priority, especially since he lost the love of his life, and she's my mom. So our life is a little on adjustment mode, and I have to be totally honest, and I'm very very apologetic about this as well. Na wala rin ako masyadong presence sa TR, no?
Even in our community.
Yeah, even in our community, hindi ko rin masyado na bibigyan. Minsan I do, but it's not a lot of time. Like, there was a time I was able to do, I have a scheduled consultation with some of them in my calendar. But if you really want to get a consultation, with me, I'm in FTMO, doon ako maraming open slots because I take care of all their traders. But when you go to Trading Republic, you won't even feel na wala ako doon. Everyone, absolutely everyone will go out of their way to take care of you. Like, I don't even have to be there because there's so many people who are even better than me, at taking care and giving the right advice for some people. Kasi iba tayo ng perspective, and there are people, now for example ako, I've been doing this for 6 years, right? I've been trading for 6 years. Minsan makakalimutan ko na yung struggles ng isang tao who have only been doing this for 1 year. Okay?
Mm.
But there will be people in Trading Republic who is at the same level as you, who might have your same problem, pero ganito yung approach nila and it seems working for them. They will tell you about it and mas relatable siya sa'yo. So in PR, I don't really see myself masyado there. Hindi ako masyado nag-hug kasi
Mm.
I don't want to destroy that ecology din kasi.
Mm.
Kasi actually, maganda pag sila-sila yung nagtutulungan, right? Hindi yung iisang tao ka lang tapos ikaw sa
Oo.
lahat. You have to like empower everyone because we believe every trader matters. Everyone has something to say that can be very, very helpful.
Mm.
So,
Meron
Yun
bang
na.
mga taga-TR dito? Kung may mga baka mamaya
Mga
meron
ano,
kasing mga taga-TR na
mga bayad
nakikinig.
na,
Pwede niyong sabihin yung
mga
experience
bayad
niyo.
na ano.
Kasi
nasa tayo.
seryoso like a lot of people like for example, we have mentors. Sorry, parang nagpo-plug na ako pero
Sure, dude, do
oo,
it.
hindi kasi hindi kasi kami gaanong nagma-market kung anong nasa Trading Republic. It's only 1,000 a month and then yung consultation mo, ikaw na yung magsasawa. Even the webinars itself, hindi mo sa meron nga silang term ngayon si Timmy. Sabi niya, imumukbang ko na lahat tong webinar dito, hindi na ako matutulog. Promise, magsasawa ka pagdating mo sa TR. We created that community para like everything that you need when it comes to the ZFT system, consultations, mindset, technicals. If you wanna learn, let's say PSE Global Forex, we've created a one-stop shop for you.
Yeah, the power is
Oo.
in the people. It's not in a few
Mm-mm.
numbers like si Zina naman, si
Oo.
Celeste na naman, si kung sino-sino na naman.
Yeah.
Absolutely everyone who has something to be able to share can share. And na-empower talaga. Everyone has the power to help each other out. And because of that, nakita namin yung exponential growth that we've
Mm-mm.
never seen before. Kesa nung puro sa amin nanggagaling yung information na finifeed lang
Yeah.
namin, finifeed. When it was suddenly it was then, and we gave them the power, their growth has been exponential. Like, maganda yung ganun. So, what I'm really trying to say is, you don't really need me as much as you think.
Mm.
You really have the capability to coach yourself out of this, to grow yourself into any situation that might be a roadblock for you. You just have to have a little bit more of confidence. And but I really do understand that there are people who need people to talk to. And
Community.
yung
Oo.
Trading Republic, it's so cheap, right? And once you get there, I've now it's been 100% all the time. Everyone has been absolutely floored with how much value they get for a very small amount of money.
Gusto ko yun. Gusto ko
Saka
yung
hindi lang
sinabi.
ako, like for example, si Celeste, busy, my God, andyan si Alpha, andyan si
Oo.
Yui. Nako, like really, you won't feel na parang, ay, walang care, walang makukuhanan.
Yung maganda doon kasi for
Everywhere.
example if Celeste teaches and then nabibigay yung yung information sa
Like for
community.
example, si Jeff na ngayon, siya na
Ayan.
yung magsasabi sa kanila
Oo.
lahat.
Yeah, ganun na siya. It's
Oo.
peer-to-peer na siya kasi from Celeste, whatever it is na na-learn natin sa session na to, go ahead and share it to other people. That way, hindi ka lang nakatulong sa iba, but you also reinforce that belief or that lesson that you've learned just now. At saka especially pagka pinut mo siya into practice.
How does one become a member of PR?
Ayan.
So, it's very easy. Basta nakagraduate ka ng ZSP course. Kahit Blueprint, which is our 2,500 online course for beginners,
Oo.
you can automatically get an eligibility to join PR. So the question remains, bakit kailangan mag-join pa ng courses ng ZFP bago makapasok sa aftercare? Kasi of course, we have to be speaking the same system, right? Mahirap, like for example, kunyari, I'm pretty sure iba yung strategy ni Jeff sa akin sa trading. Yan. Alam mo yun, I don't mind.
Chamba lang ako, chamba analysis.
Iba-iba
So,
tayong
iba tayo.
strategy. There are people who
Yes.
make a lot of money, price pattern lang, right? There are people who uses MACD, there are people who use Bollinger, there are people who use Elliott Wave. Pwede kang kumita kahit ano. But if you come to me asking for advice tapos hindi ko gamit yung strategy mo, baka hindi fitting yung advice ko. right?
Mm.
So it has to be
Same
the
language.
same language para pareho talaga kayo ng ginagawa. So, boss, bakit pagka, like kunyari, sinabi niya, pag bumaba ng ganito, napapakat ako.
Mm.
Eh, paano kung part pala ng strategy mo yun? Yeah. Paano kung part pala ng
Yes.
strategy mo yun? Tapos sabihin ko, ay, kung ako yan, binenta ko na. Kasi iba
Mm.
naman din yung strategy ko.
Yes.
But if you're in TR, tapos same kayo fundamentals, same kayo na ginagamit, at least tama yung context ng pagbibigay mo
Yes.
ng advice.
Oo.
Guys,
I think
I
yun
do
yung
agree with that.
pinaka-limit ng karamihan. Kasi for example, people come to me, mga fundamentalists, and ask me, boss, pwede ko pa ba itong hawakan? Downtrend na siya, pero nag-invest kasi ako dito. I believe in the company's potential. And I always tell them, hindi naman ako nagmamagaling na sinasabi ko, ay hindi, benta mo na yun kasi technically it's already down. So I also, parang kumbaga sinasabi ko sa kanila, you're there as a fundamentalist. Hindi ako yung dapat mong tanungin. Kasi kung ako tatanungin mo as a technical trader, benta talaga yan. Pero
Yup.
since that's not your forte, that's not your style, your niche, then iba yung dapat mong lapitan, hindi ako. Kasi hindi tayo match. And I think yun yung pinaka-important na dapat intindihin ng bawat trader. Ask for advice from people who are in the arena. Huwag kang makinig sa mga taong hindi naman same kayo ng anong tawag nito, ng battle na nilalabanan. Kasi maling advice yun eh. Bakit ka, halimbawa, di ba, I'm not sure if, nakuha ko kasi ito kay Javi Medina, kay Taylor, na sabi niya, don't seek advice from people who are on the bleachers. Dapat makinig ka sa mga tao who are gladiators on the same arena. Hindi pwedeng, di ba? Kasi anong alam ng tao nandun? Tumitingin lang siya eh. Hindi naman siya doon nakikipaglaban. Anong alam niya? Di ba? So it's the same thing as trading. Look for people who sa tingin mo fit sa style mo.
Yun, gusto ko yan. And we have another, sabi ni Sir Johan, TR represent.
Yan, PR represent.
Golden boy.
Mabait tong batang to, si Sir Johan. Ito, hello, I'm Mads. Pero hindi kayo galit. Hindi, joke lang. Hindi, kilala ko siya. Hindi, joke. Kilala ko yan.
Hindi ako nag-iisa.
Si Ma'am Mad. So, thank you for all the insights and learnings. So, my question is, at this point and at your skill level, yun nga, sabi niya, are there still traits that disappoint, upset you?
Ako, yes.
Oo.
Halimbawa, pagka, yung mga trades na alam mo, nakapagplano ka na, tapos halimbawa, late ka ng gising, hindi mo siya na-trade, ay, nakaka-trigger. Pero, yeah, hindi mawawala yan. Like what Celeste said.
But it's mostly the disappointment comes from execution, knowing that you should have done better. Right? It's not over the disappointment na sayang. Like kung nag-hold ako, sana mas malaki pa yung kita, pero you were actually just doing your plan. I don't really get that much disappointed on that na. Kasi nga, I've been doing this 6 years, no? So, nung una, aminin ko sa'yo man, lagi ko nafe-feel yung disappointment pagka tumuloy-tuloy yung stock tapos na-sell ko na siya at a profit naman. After a while, may realize mo, hindi lang yan yung naging isang opportunity pagkatapos nito. Magkakaroon ka na ng wisdom, right? Magkaka-wisdom ka na, okay, hindi yung next, hindi ka na masyadong madidismaya na hindi mo na milk yung buong upward move niya. It's okay. Magkaka-wisdom ka na.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. So nasagot mo na to kanina, Miss Celeste, na how to be a member of TR. You should isa sa mga courses offer nila para maging same page kayo pag nakapasok ka na sa TR itself.
If anyone else is like, if anyone wants to join TR, message our ZFT page. We actually have a community response team who's very willing to help you out, get onboarded into the Republic.
At saka kung anong mga kailangan mo.
Yeah. Like, there's actually a team of people ready to help you guys.
Yun, power. So, I guess yung next is, ano daw yung TR? So, I think it's Trading Republic.
Trading Republic.
Yes.
Yun yung aftercare community namin. So, parang ZFT courses.
Ayun.
DFT courses. Tapos, pag gumraduate ka na dyan, may choice ka if you want to be a part of the alumni aftercare. Lahat ng nakagraduate, may choice silang sumama lang sa aftercare. Hindi naman siya pinipilit. Kung ayaw mo, okay lang naman din. But it's, it's just 1,000 pesos a month. So yun, pwede ka sa Trading Republic. Kasi we understand na after the lessons have been delivered, it will take time for you to absorb and apply them. And though there are people who want to do it alone, the statistics or the odds are better if you do it with a lot of other people who are at the same level as you.
Para siyang think of it as a country and a university.
Country.
So, para siyang halimbawa, pag natapos ka ng course, tapos magma-masteral ka, and you do it with classmates, and then may mga perks, may mga clubs, may mga activities kami. I mean, just recently we had our Christmas party, ganun. Tapos, I mean, we know that trading is already hard in itself, sobrang stressful niya. And we want to make it an enjoyable experience, and that's why we created this aftercare community, kasi we believe that even after, let's say, YouTube mo lahat ng mga lessons, even after taking that course, there's still something missing na, kumbaga, mas mapapabilis yung pursuit mo of mastery if you have a community that's there and accountable to you and to your growth. So, yan. That's basically TR.
Nice, nice. So, question kayo, question. Dali, dali.
Oo.
Sabi nga nila, di ba? Better money miss than money loss.
Wow, ganda nun!
Power,
Dami
power.
niya. Dami ng quotes ako.
Dapat na yan.
Yeah.
Susulat ko na yan.
Sulat mo na yan. Sige, sige. Which is true. So, kaya, kung instead na mapomo ka, isulat nyo yon. Lagay nyo sa screen nyo. Better than money miss than money loss.
Ganda nun. Actually,
Money
pwede
heist.
natin yan.
Oo,
Sticker.
diba? I do believe naman kasi na pag meron kayong loss din, in a way, isipin nyo na lang, meron pa kayong 1,000 trades coming up. So, kayo ma-frustrate sa isang unsuccessful trades nyo. Mas marami pa yan. So, mas marami ka pang unsuccessful trades. So, huwag ka ma-frustrate.
Huwag
ka mag-alala. Mas marami pa yan.
Magtira ka naman, Brad. Huwag mong, sabi ko nga, huwag mo seryosohin ang problema. Hindi lahat sa'yo. Meron din kami.
Ay, maganda yun.
Original yun, ha?
Original yun.
Original yan, ha? Pwede mo pa-patent yun? And yes, actually, yung presyo, yung galaw, hindi natin makokontrol yun. All we can control is our own risk. So, those things na pwede nating i-control, kontrolin natin. And those things na hindi natin pwedeng makontrol is, let's just, sabi nga ni boss, be reactive. Huwag tayong masyadong mag-predict. Let's just react kung ano yung binibigay ni market sa atin. Yun. Oy, meron dito. Wait. 10K lang po yung pera ko, mga share lang. Pwede po ba mag-email niya sa pag-trade?
Forex
10K
na lang
USD ba yan?
Para may leverage.
Ano yan? 10K USD ba yan or what?
Saan ba yan? Sa Pilipinas ba yan?
Global? Pero peso yan, I guess.
Peso,
Sa Forex na lang para may leverage.
Hindi. Parang ako naman, ang masasuggest ko dito, pwede kang magsimula with 10K. Tapos slowly or gradually, idagdag mo yan sa portfolio mo and consider that loss. I always advise people, you start with 50K. If you can't do 50, then start with 10 and then next month, ipon ka ng 10 ulit hanggang sa umabot ka ng 50K. Kasi that's a more realistic way or number to approach trading. And consider that as your tuition fee. Huwag mo isipin na kikita ako dito or what. Kasi ano yan eh, kumbaga inaaral mo pa lang. Siguro pagka dumating yung time na halimbawa magkumita ka na tapos magdadagdag ka na ng serious money, I suggest you start with halimbawa kung gusto mo na talagang seryosohan yung trading, then at least 100K. So build your wealth, reach 100K, tapos pwede ka nang mag-start na mangarap na pwede siya maging 1 million. Pero hindi yung bukas magiging milyonaryo na ako, hindi. Dapat ano siya, slow gradual progress.
Oo nga, there's no such thing as overnight success. So, yung nakikita nyo ngayong successful, hindi nyo alam or hindi natin alam yung mga napagdaanan niya before
Mm.
they even, like si boss, tignan yung mga trades niyan. Gain
Oh,
200K, 500K.
mm.
I believe naman bago tayo doon, boss, 'di ba? May mga
Yun
pinagdaanan din
million din yung
tayo.
na-lose natin, oo.
Oo. So,
Oo, before nangyari yung mga ganyang gains, malaki din yung naging loss ko.
kaya 'wag tayong masyadong ano, sabi nga maganda yung expectation mo pero be realistic lang. I mean, 10K lahat ba ng trades natin is actually yung expectation mo na maging 1 million is ano yung time frame mo? Una,
Yes.
in relatively sa size ng ipapasok mo like this 10K, sabihin na lang nating maka-ceiling ka diyan, hindi 5K, 15K na lang. Hindi
Mm.
naman every trade mo ceiling ka and hindi
Yes.
naman every trade is panalo ka. At ang mangyayari niyan dahil 10K ka, lagi ka bang all in or di-divide mo siya into the 5 5K para dalawang stocks? I mean,
Mm.
so maraming process 'yan. Pero possible siguro 'yan in a lifetime but kung gusto mong kumita ng malaki I mean, you really need to invest a some amount of money para in relative dun sa gusto mo.
True.
Like for example, sabi nga 100,000 ay sorry, 100% ka, pero nilagay mo let's say nakasakay ka ng dalawang ceiling play, sunod-sunod. 100% ka, pero nilagay mo dun is let's say 10,000, eh, di 10,000 yung ano mo, 100% ka, di ba?
Mm.
Pero si Boss C, 1% lang yun ng 1M eh.
Mm.
I
The
mean,
better, oo.
'di ba?
Better pa rin talaga pagka, I mean, you need to look at trading in relative to your port size talaga.
Hmm,
Kumbaga, the smaller your portfolio, eh, talagang magtatrabaho ka ng mas matindi. If a
yes,
person, halimbawa, if for the sake of comparison lang, if yung fund manager na halimbawa 10 million or 100 million yung port nila, tapos 1% lang yung kita nila, eh, yung lang na yun, ang laki-laki na yun para sa'yo, di ba? And you would say na, oh, the world is unfair. Pero, ganun talaga yung mundo. You have to, kumbaga, play with the cards that you're dealt with.
yun. Power. Eto, meron na tayong medyo magka-technicals dito. Sir, kapag po ba trading ng ATH, it is better to buy on breakout of multi-year, multi-months resistance or pull back on the previous resistance? Yan. Bigyan tayo ng konting momentum ni Sir dito.
Best way is both. Buy during the breakout and buy during the pullback. Why? Kasi para lang din siyang sell half na rule. Ito naman is buy half and then buy half ulit. Kasi
Hmm,
paano kung naiwan ka? Paano kung wala na siyang pullback?
pull back.
Eh di iwan ka na, di ba? Parang AR or parang halimbawa yung FA, di ba? Naghintay ng pullback kasi hindi dumating. At least pag nagbumili ka ng breakout, edi it's already going to give you that tas umakyat siya, di parang buti na lang bumili ako, di ba? Tas kung
Hmm,
nag-pullback man siya, buti na lang kalahati lang nilagay ko.
yun.
Yun yung mangyayari sa mindset mo. Hindi ka mape-pressure na, mag-risk ka agad or what. Why not do both instead of just one?
Uy, Neil, intindihin mo, full-time trader to ah. May oras siya para gawin both. So, if
Yes,
you're
siguro.
not,
Yes,
it might
yes.
not work for you.
Mm.
Yep, I do agree with that. Eto, can you provide tips, not TA but more on psychology na you think applicable sa current market state sa PSE?
PSCI.
Not TA but more in psychology.
I guess ngayon, do you need to slow down, I guess, let's say in a way, re-rephrase ko na lang, baka ganito lang pagkakaintindi
Sige,
ko.
sige.
Like, for example, ngayon, current state psychology, do you need to slow down a bit? Or is it the time for you to really maging loaded ka in a way na maging optimistic ka this coming 2021? Kasi we are in the last month and last quarter of the year. Eh. So
Mm.
I guess that would help.
I think a lot of people want to know the same exact question. They want to learn the answer. Because psychology and trading is divided into two things. One is individual psychology, which is your inner psychology, and another one is market psychology, which is what I think he's trying to ask.
Mm,
Is there something that he needs to know about his current state, the market psychology, probably? But I would defer my answer pa din na it doesn't matter what the market is doing simply because you can't control that, right?
mm.
Even if say pa-bear ngayon, we don't know, biglang mag-bull ulit, right? You don't know. You don't really know what the market is about to do. Focus more on your individual psychology. What do you think can fortify your inner psychology? What do you think can bring out the best state out of you? How can you replicate your best trading days? So, no matter what the market is, as long as you know what strategy works on that market, because that's what you can control, focus on what you can control, which is yourself and fortifying yourself. The battlefield, you can't control the battlefield, but the way of the warrior is up to you.
At
And
saka
I think you.
wow, day power.
Panalo.
Ah.
Tsaka ano, eh, in a way, masyado tayo kasi nag-a-anticipate, eh, 'no? So, the market will always be there. So, don't worry about missed opportunity, I guess, kasi there will always be another opportunity.
There's
So,
nothing to
gano'n.
fear about
Wow,
anything. Often,
ang kulit nito,
often,
tignan mo. Wow, hindi ako sure dun sa tanong ko, pero I got a good answer from it. Yan yung bad trades turn into good one.
Ayan.
Ay,
pero
ay, ay,
ganyan,
ay.
ano, the world belongs to
The
askers.
Askers.
Yan.
Another question is, napansin ko po kasi sa trading ko, parang gusto ko po lagi ako may hawak. Oh, kaya may mga maganda setup, wala po ako BP kasi tama. Kasi ano po pwede kong yung tips? Kasi
Pwedeng gawin
unahin
nyo
ko na
is
muna.
sell nyo yung pinaka
Ayun.
weak sa mga hawak nyo. Tapos yun yung gamitin mo pang bili dun sa magandang setup mo. Pero I think yung pinaka-problem mo is something deep.
Sorry, nakita ko kasi yung susunod na tanong eh.
Okay, okay.
Sige, go, go.
Sige. Kasi parang mas naiintindihan right now, Emil, parang ang ramdam ko sa tanong mo is, alam mo na yung problema. Kumbaga, yung problema mo is, gusto mo lagi kang may hawak. Where is this belief coming from? Teka, bakit ako yung sumasagot nito? Dapat ikaw to eh.
Hindi, maganda naman yung sagot ko
Oh,
kanina eh.
sige.
Na parang benta niya yung,
Malay mo
ano,
meron din siya
Oo.
makuha magandang sagot sa tanong, boss.
Oo nga kasi psychology kasi yung yung tanong eh. So parang yung pinaka root cause nun is dapat lagi kang may hawak. Bakit ba lagi kang may hawak? Is it because you feel like kung meron kang hawak and then lumipad siya, kikita ka? Meron kasi ganung klaseng mindset na parang hindi ako kikita sa market pag wala akong bibili. Wala akong hinahawakan. Siyempre, totoo yun. Pero another truth to that is pag meron akong hawak, meron din akong chances na malulugi. So, kailangan mo i-balance yung dalawa. Pero yun nga, siguro yung pinaka magiging um, sagot ko dun sa tanong mo, like in a more practical way is, kung gusto mo mag-rotate ng mga hawak, tapos halimbawa, merong yung setup mo, nagmamaterialize na, or pa-materialize pa lang, ibenta mo yung stock na sa tingin mo, hindi naman siya, hindi nagmamaterialize o
switchblade.
magsiswitch blade ka. So, sell the weakest link, buy the stock na tingin mo, yun na yung setup mo.
Yung mga slow horse, benta niyo.
Nakaka-shock psychology ang sagot niya kanina.
Oo nga
Hindi ko
eh.
in-expect yun. Ako technical ang isasagot ko eh. Find out your A
Baliktad
grade, B
yata
grade,
eh.
C grade setup.
Yun.
O, alam mo ba yun?
Oo.
So, in ZFT, we teach that. Dapat may A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade setup ka.
Mm-mm.
Yung mga A grade setup mo, yan yung talagang kabisado mo na, bread and butter mo na to, no?
Mm-mm.
B grade, alam mo na siya, pero hindi pa talaga ganun kagamay, kasanay.
Mm-mm.
C grade is, medyo
Nag-experiment
curious
ka pa lang. Oo.
experiment ka pa lang. So, at any rate, may times na makikita mo yung C grade, at any time, may makikita kang B grade, may makikita kang A grade. ganyan. So, it's up to you na lang kung i-trade mo si C-grade, kung i-trade mo man siya, okay lang naman. Pero expectation mo dun is not to make money but to learn. So if you're just trying to learn, you don't really have to put a lot of allocation in it. Hindi dapat nakakaubos ng buying power kung nagtatry ka lang naman ng setup, kung paano mo siya i-handle. So, pagka mga A-grade setup, edi talagang yun yung lalagyan mo ng tamang allocation sa portfolio mo. So, if for example, biglang may mga ganyang lumipad na malakas, tapos may portfolio ka, tanggalin mo siguro yung mga C-grade, lalo na kung A-grade mo yung lumabas. Hindi siya sakit, sakit per se. Lalo na kung yung objective mo naman sa C-grade setups mo is tama. Gusto mo lang matuto, kaya nagta-practice ka. Kasi sabi nga nila, walang trader sa virtual na nalugi. Lahat yan talaga naman.
Oo, kasi madali mag-research yun eh.
Lahat yan napaka-genius sa virtual. Ang totoong labasan ng pag may
Kasi
pera
wala
na
masyadong emosyon. I mean, setup, pwede ka mag-practice virtual. Pero yung psychology on that trade, parang wala talaga eh. Kahit matalo ka, magre-reset ka lang. At saka, kung may dagdag ko lang, more trades doesn't mean more profit.
Yun.
So, pang-anim na ba yan? Pang-anim na yan? Pang-anim na yan, ha? So, as you mature in the market, maniniwala ako na magiging lesser yung trades mo and you will go for quality A-grade trades, kumbaga. Kasi why settle for less kung meron namang, why settle for less? Kung meron namang, di ba, patient lang. Kung wala pa setup, huwag pilitin.
So, at some point, masusunog ka din. Marirealize na, ayoko na ng ganong setup. But you will only do that if you actually get consequence out of it. So, ngayon, problema mo yan na marami kang binibili. At some point, mababawasan yan kasi makikita mo yung pattern na pag ganitong setup, ayaw mo nang patusin, hindi worth it.
At saka kung hindi rin ganun kalaki yung port mo, pag na-divide yan, in a way, maliit lang din. Kahit mag-ceiling yung isa mo, pero divided ka, let's say, 10 stocks, wala siyang ganun kalaking effect sa port mo as a whole. I mean, meron kang 100K, meron kang 10 stocks, edi tigto 10K na lang, dinivide mo siya. Pero yung isa nag-ceiling and then the other 9 is not in a good state. Parang lahat, kahit manalo ka doon sa isa, wala pa rin, di ba? Tsaka hindi mo ma-enjoy yung 50% mo na run kasi maliit lang yung allocation. Well, actually, at the end of the day, it's on the volume pa rin yan. Sabi ko nga kanina, magka-ceiling ka ng dalawa, 10K nilagay mo, 50-50, 10K pa rin yun. Pero pag nilagyan mo ng malaki, even at 3%, 5% is a good gain. Pag malaki na, I mean, 10% ng 1M is 100K. Eh kung mag-run lang yun nakasakay ka doon sa 10% move, nasakyan mo na lang siya on the 5%, 50K pa rin yun, mabilis. Di ba? Hindi mo kailangang maghintay ng 10% gain to get that 50K gain. Ganun lang po. So, eto. Ano ba to? Sir, sige, tawanan muna natin to.
Saan pwede magreklamo? Okay, may input ako. I think this is more of a unpopular opinion to from someone who has been interacting with brokers. So, kasi marami kaming mga parang na-enlighten kami. Ganito pala how, brokers work.
Sagutin mo lang, tayo lang ako ng 1 minutes. With S yun
sige na problema. So, I think, free to use sound. There's 2 ways to do this. First is, kung lagi siyang nangyayari sa'yo, lipat ka na ng broker. Alright? Kasi, why stay with a broker na sucky yung service? Ayun yung isa. The other one is, galingan mo talaga siya sa pag-trade. Or find a broker na merong automated stops, ganyan. So that, yung plan mo, i-execute na lang automatically kahit mag-lag pa yan. Basta yung order nandun na, may execute niya yan. For the context naman, I think kasi, kumbaga, alam ko, like for example, call, dahil sa sobrang daming clients sila, tapos naglalag. I think other brokers as well na nagkakaroon ng surge with clients. Kahit anong broker pa yan, pag dumami talaga yung kliyente nila, naglalag talaga yung broker. And I think it's not just the broker's problem, it's also the part na sa PSE kasi kailangan daw talagang mag-upgrade ng system sa PSE. Yung gamit-gamit pa natin, hindi pa tayo nakakapag-upgrade sa mga first world na sistema. So siguro pwede mong gawin, i-suggest mo sa PSE mismo that mag-upgrade na sila ng system para hindi mahirapan yung mga brokers natin. Ayun. So, yun. Two ways. Report mo sa PSE. Hindi yung broker mismo. Sabihin niyo yung PSE mismo yung mag-upgrade. Kasi yung mga brokers, kahit ilang upgrade yan, pagka mahina yung sistema natin sa PSE, talagang mag-experience talaga tayo ng lag. Tapos 1% pa tayo, di ba? Less than 1% pa lang yung nagda-trade.
Yeah.
Ano pa kaya kung maging 5 or 10?
Actually, pretty, my advice is the same. I think for issues like that, you can check it. You can check if you could lodge a file at PSE directly or at SEC, PSE or SEC. Kasi sila yung mga police natin. And at the same time, maybe if we tell them about it, mas may magawa sila. Kasi nga, I do believe our brokers are doing their best. I don't think there's one business in the world existing right now who doesn't want to do the best for their customers. But maybe what they can do is kind of limited din. Kasi nga, it's an ecosystem eh. Hindi pwedeng sa iisang part lang yung nagtatry to improve. Maybe there's something that has to be done outside of our broker's hands. So for us, what we can do individually is maybe if you come from a broker na medyo na bibigatan na sa dami ng users, you can transfer. Or at the same time, you could also try to lodge a complaint at PSE. Kasi, yun nga, hindi lang brokers talaga dito yung kailangan mag-improve. Marami pang factors
systems
at play. Na typically we don't, umpisa hindi ko naintindihan yan But when I became a stockbroker, mas nakikita ko yung ecology ng mundo natin. And hindi pala talaga sa brokers lang yung to blame on this part. They're trying their best too, I think.
Nice. Gusto ko yun. Napaka objective and subjective ng reply nyo. Di ba?
Kaysa magreklamo tayo sa Facebook, walang pupuntahan yun. Yung mga comments na oy, bagal ng broker, mag-resign na kayo, sunugin namin yung brokerage house niyo. Wala, hindi yun gagana.
Although, yeah, I think, syempre, everyone has a part to do. Especially, unang-una sa broker din, kasi may mga broker din naman na hindi naglalag. I mean, siguro dahil sa sobrang dami ng user ng isang broker, so in a way, kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga ibang broker na hindi naman naglalag kasi hindi ganun let's say, dami pa rin yung user nila. I guess so. Kaya yun ang nagiging dahilan. So, yeah, you may want to withdraw na lang and then transfer to another, what do you call this? Another broker, or try to tweak your system na lang in a way na alam mong nagbo-broker mo anytime, ganun. So, instead of doing scalping, you may want to do some swing na lang, at least, alam mo yun, hindi ka masyadong ma-stress. So, merong exciting na tanong dito. Congratulations pala sa'yo, Sir Emil. So, student trader here started last August, 70K ngayon. Wow! Ilang percent na yan?
Laki.
70, 140, 210, 220. Wow! Almost 400%. Bigyan ng jacket yan, tsaka CD. Congratulations, sir. Gusto ko yan. Any tips po? Di po ako satisfied kasi baka lang gumana yung cup. Kasi nga, pagka bull run, kinakabahan po ako. Yep.
Alright. My suggestion, withdraw your profits. Siguro gawin mo from 220 na yan. Mag-withdraw ka. Withdraw mo, gawin mo 100K yung port mo. The rest, enjoy it. And then, let's say,
invest it on something else.
Invest it on something else. So that pagka dumating man yung yung bear market na yan, okay lang kasi nakapag-withdraw ka na eh.
Alam mo, sobrang sakit niyan pag bumalik sa 70 or
Oo.
less.
Oo, mag-end na rin yung taon. So, di ba?
Oo.
Reward yourself.
What I'm trying to say is, yung nararamdaman mong nervousness and anxiety, that's very well put. That's not a bad thing. It's actually signaling you to do smart decisions with it. We've seen
Hmm,
a lot of traders who made a lot of money during the telco season
Mm.
just to lose all of it. All right. It's nothing new. It happens all the time, but you have the choice to make sure it doesn't happen to you. A lot of them are saying, sana linabas ko na lang yung pera. But here's the thing, Emil, you were able to make 70 to 220. You don't have to keep the money uli. Like parang tanggalin mo na yung iba and have the confidence na if you can grow 70 to 220, you can grow 100 to more uli. To 220 uli, siguro, or even more pa. So, ano sinasabi nila na percentage basis, but it's really gonna do very good to your psychology. Very, very good to your psychology. Pag binawasan mo na muna yung profits mo, tapos tinago mo na, tinabi mo na sa bank account mo, or in-invest mo, or in-enjoy mo, it will do you very good. Kasi nga, hindi ka na nasa point na either one, you're gambling na kasi you feel like you're playing with house money, or you're too scared to lose your money. Is that?
and also buti naisip mo agad 'yan. Gusto ko yung sinabi kanina ni Miss Celeste 'no, it's something na sinasabi ng unconscious mind mo, personal mo na you need to step up kasi something might happen. Kasi yung iba, ito yung problema 'no, usually 'pag nag-start ka and then you start yung ganito nangyari, 'di ba? Parang naunahan mo sila ng parang casino, sa una mananalo ka and then you tend to overtrades and then dun mo ibinabalik sa market, which is good.
Mm.
Kaya in order for you to protect, kahit mag-overtrade ka, withdrawin mo. Actually, kung ako sa'yo, withdrawin mo lahat nung kita mo na 220 na siya ngayon. So, 150 na yung kita mo. Right? So, withdrawin mo yung 150 kita mo, balik mo lang yung reset ka doon sa 70K mo. Or sabi ni boss, 50K, reset mo para at least yung puhunan mo, nilabas mo pa yung 20K. Wala ka ng talo diyan. Kahit maubos yung 50K mo, win-win ka pa rin diyan. And then start again from that small amount. Tama nga yung advice no? Start small. Yung pag nag-start ka, dapat imagine mo, yun yung tuition fee mo. Gusto mo ba mag-tuition fee ng 500K agad? Di naman, di ba? So, pwede ka naman mag-tuition fee ng 50K or 10K, 20K. Why not? Sayang yan. Balik kasi pag na yan, naubos pa yan, ang naging tuition fee mo is hindi 70K 220K plus emotional disaster.
Yun.
Pampito na yun
Galing. Next time ikaw na interviewin namin.
And then, naku, patay tayo
Leaders
dyan.
Night Kwentuhan. Featuring Batman.
Okay, any more question? Ito na lang. Online broker or live broker? Ano po mas angkop sa aming may regular job? I think
Yung
it's
broker na may automated stuff.
automated stuff.
Boy.
Oo.
Yeah, I guess. And also, ibagay din natin yung trade natin sa personality and situation natin. Like, huwag tayong mang-scalp kasi may regular job tayo. Hindi tayo makaka-focus sa trabaho natin. Unfair yun sa nagpapasweldo sa atin. So, we are paid to do work. So, although ako
Yeah.
nagtitrade ako on my work, well, I try not to, like, or pag hindi busy, doon na lang. Kaya medyo nag-lessen yung trades ko rin. Parang na-realize ko rin kasi parang it's what do you call unprofessional for me.
Yes. Agree ako dyan sa nakakabilib yung ganyang klaseng trade.
Yeah. Nung una hindi kasi medyo syempre as you mature, sabi nga natin parang you learn things na from your mistakes. So yun. Personal lang yun pero wag niyong gagayahin. Hindi naman ako naninermon. Personal ko lang ano 'yun, eye opener lang, parang gano'n lang. So, I try not to really or kung mag-train man ako hindi na kagaya dati parang 1 oras, 2 oras. Tapos nasa work ako, parang few minutes na lang, then exit na. Anyway, ano 'to, thanks sir, ang galing. Hindi ko actually naisip 'yan. Naisip ko pa ngang baka kapag nagbawas ako, yung compound ko mas hihina, eh. Oo nga, nagiging greedy na ako.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You have so many opportunities to make as much money,
Mm-mm.
right? Just don't make the mistakes of those who were who were in your shoes.
Bitin daw pero mahirap daw mag-isip magtanong.
Join Trading Republic.
Kung
My gosh.
nabitin ka,
If
join.
you think this is juicy,
Nako.
Yeah.
Hindi ko tingin yung juicy na to.
You have some link you want to share? At least or screen?
Just message the CFT page.
Okay.
Yun lang, sabihin nyo lang.
Yung CF Prime, si
CF
CF,
Prime.
or you can message Miss Celeste pero baka hindi kayo ma-replyan agad kasi nga.
Guys,
wala na.
don't message me on my page.
Kukuha na to ng CEO para merong mag-reply sa mga messages niya.
So, si boss yun na lang ang anong tawag dito, i-message nyo, I believe.
Mas lalo na. Dapat doon na sa page talaga
Higher
mismo.
chances of winning the ZFT page.
ZFT page kasi meron talaga kaming dedicated team that
community or care team.
Or i-message nyo lahat para the more entries,
para more chances of winning.
Tama. Yun. Any more? And it's 2.5 hour na rin naman tayo. I think it's good enough. And I thank you sa 2.5 hours na binigay nyo sa amin, Miss Celeste and Boss C. And I do hope sana maulit to, no?
Oo. Walang problema.
Hindi masyadong busy si Miss Celeste. So, message natin para paulakan tayo. Malay mo, ibang topic naman or ibang approach naman. Di ba?
Correct.
Wala na kayong tanong. And again, maraming salamat sa papa-unlock nyo sa atin. So, it's been a good discussion, a lot of insights and learning. And ako rin natuto. May mga realization din sa akin kanina habang nagsasalita si Miss Celeste. So, I think I need to review my Yep. So, again, maraming po salamat and maraming salamat sa panonood nyo. Kung marami kayong na-miss, you just watch the replay. Na? Maraming salamat. And enjoy your weekend, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.